All right, Jimmy the Bag, we live. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, buddy.
Sorry, we're a little bit late. At this time of year, though, you get a pass for that. You get a mulligan. March Madness, I'm in the midst of it. I'm loving it. Overall, I'm doing well, but I'm having some big ups and downs. Had a huge winning Saturday. Had a horrible yesterday. Conference tournaments are very interesting. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But you are watching the Low Bag Show, Loshak in the Bag Show, right here on Pub Sports Radio. Today is Tuesday, March 8th. You know, that a little pause between words is very professional. Old school and new school professional, Jimmy the Bag. Although shitty lighting is very unprofessional, but whatever. Sorry we're late, Jimmy the Bag. I'm feeling okay. I love college. Once again, you know, everyone, whether you're making money, even if you're doing it professionally, this should be done for fun, as a hobby, right? And I'm having a great time. I had a great time on Saturday with my huge winning Saturday. And you know what? I even had a great time on Monday, even though I donked off half of the profits that I had from Saturday. Conference tournaments are very interesting. Expect the unexpected. Sometimes teams just don't show up. Why? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I'm just an observer here, but we're going to have a great show today. Jimmy the Bag. I feel like I have a good reel on NHL right now. Jimmy the Bag, there's been a bunch of dog winners in the NHL, and I have acquired some balls to have bet them over the past week and with their team totals, right? I'll tell you, like Columbus and Toronto yesterday, I took a tiny shot with Columbus, which lost, but I took the Columbus team total over 2.5 at -150, which cashed. So it's a very interesting time of the year in NHL as well. And I just would like to ask you, Jimmy the Bag, how has the elephant in the room, I should say the brown bag filled with milk in the room is our man Jose Bouquet. How's he been doing these past few weeks? Has he been hitting with more winners, underdogs? What's been going on with him?
He's very angry. He's very angry that there's no baseball season, so he has blocked his picks out as well. There will be no picks until baseball agrees that they will be back. So he's an angry young man, missing his favorite sport very badly.
He hasn't been hitting like, golf underdogs and NHL underdog crazy picks that wound up winning, or how has he been making no public official plays? So he's still up like 50 units on the year.
He's up 21.66 units on the year, but he's an angry young man. He is an angry young man, and we've all seen, a 25-year-old man who's already past his peak. Sadly, it's tough. It's tough watching this. We're going to watch him kind of, slide downhill for the next 55 or 60 years if he makes it that long. So it's the beginning of a sad descent here for young Jose Bouquet. And, he's not in very good shape. He doesn't get a lot of sunlight. There's no baseball season, so I don't have a lot of great things to say about him. But he's a hell of a producer, Pete. He does a great job here on the show, and I love working with him. But if
you're not getting a lot of sunlight, you can throw in a vitamin D supplement. That can help, Jose, if you're listening. All right, I've been so busy with my handicapping that I didn't even get a chance to tweet out the show. Jimmy the Bag, why don't you do some shout-outs when I tweet out the show? Mute my computer here, bring up the chat, and I'll be ready to go in about 30 seconds, 20 seconds, okay?
That sounds great, but do listen in. While we talk about the show Pete had with us last Tuesday, it was a thing of beauty. He was excellent in NHL, 5-3 plus 2.94 units. 5-3 plus 2.94 units. He nailed the Duck spot with the plus 154 money line and the over 2.5. I thought he pretty much nailed the Islander spot, even though he pushed that first period at plus 190 against the Avs, but he cashed the team total over 2.5. He had an excellent day. In NBA, he broke even 2-2, but he did have a giant day in NCAA basketball. He gave us 17 official picks in one day. 17 official picks in NCAA basketball, and he went 10-6 plus 3.27 units there. It was a spectacular work last Tuesday, Pete.
Yeah, I can barely remember it because I've been so engrossed in everything since then and preparing for this show. But yeah, and the NHL, I feel like didn't the Islanders win that game outright though?
No, I believe that was against the Avs. Was that not?
I don't remember. I remember
5-3. against the Avs, I believe.
I can't quite remember, but yeah, I remember. It's always on today's card. There's a lot of situations like that as well. It's like, well, should I take the first period money line? Should I go for the full game huge money line? It's interesting in NHL. We'll talk about that when we get to it, though, Jimmy the Bag, right?
We will. I have just if anyone wants to know the inside of what's going on with me right now, I have fallen in back. It's been a long time since I've had to deal with this, but I have insomnia back in my life for the first time in a long time. So I'm put in no action so far today. I put in no action, and I beat the shit out of the card. I'm ready to cap it heavy with you guys. But I just thought, you know what? With just staring up at the ceiling for hours upon hours, it's like, let's just cap it together and then put in my action. So I've not made any bets. Shout out to everybody joining us, the community of new knowledge, Sammy Calmer, diehard MMA podcast. Look at this, fresh off a 19-unit win on Saturday. 19 units of victory for Clint. Star the diehard MMA podcast says, got full pockets, ready to gamble on some hockey. We got Viper NB, Gary Tenebra in the house, Kyle Hintlian, Paulie Walnuts, Matty Ice, Bleds W, Nasty Nate, Dabby, Cabs, Von Polo, Turnsy fresh off taking a puck to the face. He's still looking good, though. He looks much tougher. A razor sharp picks, by the way. For those of you, I'm sure a ton of you guys know, but on Thursday and Friday, Razor Sharp Picks gave out winning pick fives, and he only gave out one on Thursday and one on Friday. Pick fives, and they both cashed. He's going for 3 straight winning pick fives here on the show. He also picked up 2K on our big day of Saturday action, a little 2K banger. It was very fun, by the way. Thank you to all who joined us for our road to the Kentucky Derby, the prep races. It was a fun day, I was looking over my stats. It was a very strange day. It's a very, very strange day. $1,360 of wagers, and I ended up $17. And I never bought in or anything. It was a very, 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 very strange day. Viper says Calvin Ridley is enjoying it. Come on, $1,500 worth of bets. I think I've got a lot to say, but we don't have time because we have 35 games to get. There's Dan Kelly into the house. Dennis Garcia, the nuke worker, says, good morning, guys. Conference tourney time. Let's roll. We're going to cap each and every one of those games. We may not have picks on them, but we will discuss them. We have Piker in the house. He says, what up? What about Vlad Putin? What is he up to? He's 1-0 on the show. Prince of the City ready to go. Pedro Echeverria ready to eat. We've got a great group. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. The Dutch Boy Fresh, Ron Walsek, CT Bays, Danny Lopez, Cashman, Juan Ruiz. And they're still, Pete, everybody wants to know whether you will be making an appearance. And the clock is ticking, man. We're running out of
yes, indeed. The clock is ticking. I always want to make jokes about this when presented, but whenever I get into this show, 100% of my brain is focused on handicapping and on the situations that are upcoming. So I don't even know whether I'm going to be there. I don't even have any jokes to make fun of it. Hit you back with it, Jimmy the Bag. I can tell you I would love to be there, and I'm gonna do my best to get down there. It will be a lot of fun. That I can guarantee. I've been to these bashes and get-togethers before. They're always a lot more fun than you expect. I mean, many people expect them to be horrible and pathetic, and they're always they're always a huge amount of fun. I will tell you that. Every bash and meetup I've ever been to, always way more fun than I was expecting.
I'm very excited. I think the day I'm most excited for, there's going to be so many fun days, but I like the schedule of Sunday. Sunday, we meet at this Texas barbecue. We eat there. Right across the street's the horse track. We hammer the horses for a few hours. Then a pickup truck pulls up into the parking lot, puts a net out, and we watch Prince of the City and Ski Profit play J Money and Dutch Boy Fresh in 2-on-2 basketball, and we bet heavily on it. Then we go to the Southtown 101 and see a XXX comedy show starring Jason Rouse, where I will come out of retirement and host the bad boy. I'm pretty excited about that Sunday. I think that Sunday is going to be extremely fun. But we got to get to work.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes, you can.
I'm just seeing, this is a handicapping question. I'm just seeing this comment from Dan Kelly, right? I was talking, I mentioned, in the beginning of the show that some teams don't show up for conference tournaments. And Dan Kelly says there are usually situational reasons why teams don't show up, Pete. Those situations are quantifiable. Interesting comment here, Dan Kelly. What about Cleveland State in the Horizon League yesterday? What would be the reason that they wouldn't show up, and how would you quantify that? Great comment there from Dan Kelly. Yeah, some of them are quantifiable for sure. The Cleveland State not showing up for yesterday's game, I have no answer for that. If you do or have any words about it, any thoughts on it, hit me up, Dan Kelly. I'm very interested to hear what you would have to say about that topic. Thanks very much. Just wanted to address that comment that I just saw, Jim.
And we have already action coming in from our chat. Jeff Slaughter on Liverpool, Munich, the new Saints moneyline parlay plus 145 to get his day started. Kyle Hintley going big on Clemson. All right, let's get to work. Turnsey saying Kraken have signed Jared McCann to a 5-year, $25 million contract. He is, of course, a darling here. Mike M says Cleveland State season ended when they lost in double overtime a few weeks ago. Team didn't have enough heart, says Mike M. Tin men out there. All right, Pete, let's get to work right now. So this is our schedule. We have a ton of NHL to get through, and we need to move brisk. Then we move on to NBA. Then we move on to NCAA basketball. Excuse me. I'm going to be making little mistakes due to some sleep issues I'm having. Then we move on to NCAA basketball. Then we move on to NBA. The plan right now is to have Wham joining us at 10-2. So 9:50 Pacific, 12:50 Eastern. All right, let's get to work, Pete. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Avalanche 40-11-5, 17-8-2 on the road at New Jersey Devils 20-31-5, 12-13-3 at home. And there's the disaster of an NHL record that I have. It's just above your head, Pete. Just above your head right now. I have a disaster of an NHL record. And we had a winning week last week, and all I said is let's just have a winning week after week after week and fix it. That's all, fix it. And it's embarrassing, and I hate it. And it's probably part of the reason for my insomnia. But the one thing that we will always promise you, no matter how embarrassing it is, we will always be honest and transparent with our entire action, no matter how much it's a fucking punch to my gut. Ooh. Okay, you can pull it down now. Okay. I think I've seen enough. It's out there. We all see it. Get the fuck down now. Thank you. Okay, Colorado Avalanche, 40-11-5, 17-8-2 on the road at New Jersey Devils, 20-31-5, 12-13-3 at home. Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. We have Darcy Kemper going up against Nico Dawes, 27-6-2 is Kemper, 2.53 goals against average, 918 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Nico Dawes, 4-3-0, 2.71 goals against average, 908 save percentage, no shutouts. Again, I was putting all this together last night. So if there's goalie changes that you guys know about, please let us know. Colorado power play 22.9%, penalty killing 77%, while the Devils power play is at 18.1%, penalty killing at 81.9%. We have the Avalanche opening up here at, I don't have their opening for some reason, but they're between minus 207 and minus 220, depending on where you shop. And if this site messes up for me, I will move over very quickly to action. This total sitting at 6.5, and it's the markets. You know what? I'm just going to move to action. I just don't trust. There's Kyle Hintley, and much love to you. Thank you so much for the dono, my friend. It means so much to us. We care about being here with you, and we will never sell you anything. And it means a ton that you back us like that with your hard-earned cash. And we don't want you really to. All we want is your pockets to grow because of this show and not for them to lighten, but that means a ton to us. There's Nut Flush Allen in the house. Okay, so Colorado on the second half of the back-to-back.
Can I get 75 cents of that, though, somehow?
Oh, say what, my man?
Can I get 75 cents of that $10 that Kyle just donated?
Only if you come to San Antonio. We'll all give you coins.
There you
we'll
go.
all
all
give
right.
you coins. We'll pass around the jar and give you as many coins as we can. Colorado on the second half of a back-to-back after snapping their 2-game losing streak with a 5-4 win at the Islanders last night. It was a wild game, 1-1 going into the third period before they scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 17 seconds to take a 5-1 lead. Then the Islanders scored with 3 goals to make it a 5-4 final. I don't know if this Avalanche goaltending is enough for them to hold Lord Stanley's mug over their heads. Nate McKinnon has at least a point in 11 straight games, 9 goals, 5 assists. Cale Makar, 2 goals plus an assist against the Islanders last night. So his assist streak is at 12 games, tying Burnaby Joe, who has the record. Their Colorado general manager has the record from 30 years ago. Look at the character of this team. And Gabriel Landeskog, I think, was really the leader of this character group. But Tyson Jost suffered a fractured jaw and broken teeth when he was hit with a shot Saturday in that 4-3 overtime loss to the Flames. He underwent dental surgery, made the flight to New York on Sunday, and played 9 minutes and 31 seconds. When you have Tyson Jost doing that for you, you know what you do? You step up and you win hockey games. That stuff is just very, very special. Burakovsky took a shot off his foot on Monday. X-rays were negative. And so I'm not sure if he's going to be in action. Devils snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 3-2 win at home over St. Louis on Sunday. This is a team that's clearly on the rise, Pete, but this is a tough test, and this is a tricky spot. Avalanche Devils, take it away.
Yeah, I was looking at this, just thinking, maybe don't overthink it. New Jersey team total over at just 2.5 minus 119. Colorado on the back-to-back. McKinnon's playing great, so I don't necessarily want to fade them. Although if you gave me a free play on it and I had to take either Colorado as a big favorite or New Jersey as a big dog, I'd probably put it on New Jersey. But, New Jersey, they are a team. They have some, they're probably going to be sellers, right? Or maybe, with the trade deadline 2 weeks away. So who knows what that does to them psychologically. But they're pretty clearly a team with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Right, Jim?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to really cap the heart of this group. Dougie Hamilton has been passed around the NHL, and he's a Corsi darling, sometimes the number one Corsi defenseman in the NHL. Why is he being passed from team to team to team? Does he have heart? I don't know. PK Subban, is he a guy full of heart? Is Nico Hischier full of heart? Like, I don't know. This team has a lot of guys that have come over from the KHL. I'm not putting down them at all, but I'm just saying I can't sit here and say that this team has a chip on their shoulder and a ton of heart and wants to get out. I can't say that.
And Darcy Kemper, what's your take on him?
I don't think he's a good enough goaltender to win them a cup, really. But he's been okay. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit concerned that the team total is so low for New Jersey, but I'll take it. I'm seeing 2.5 minus 110 at Heritage. I'll make that official. Is there any reason that would be, not recommended thing to do?
No, I think that makes a ton of sense. Devils team total over 2.5
minus 110. Current line at Heritage.
Sean Sports Bet Dev says Kemper isn't playing. Why did I think that?
I'm seeing Kemper is confirmed.
I thought Francouz was in last night. Just go over that very quickly here.
I'm seeing Kemper as confirmed at Daily Faceoff, but Daily Faceoff is a corporate media propaganda outlet, so they might be.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Kemper, Sean, Sports Bet Dev. Definitely Kemper. Francouz was in last night. So, yeah, I like that team total over. And the question is, if you like that over, would you rather take the full game over and have, both teams involved in this?
I mean, my notes lean that way as well, but I think I'm going to hold off on that one. It's the total is shot way up, hasn't it? Opened at 6, now it's up to 6. It opened at I first saw it at 6, juiced to the under. I should have jumped on it then. Now it's 6.5.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna ever take a move, and I could have got it at 6. So I'm just gonna pull up the Action Network. I'm not trusting this site that we once used.
North Ender got the first period over at minus 130, minus 155. Now I was thinking that way as well.
Yeah, this says it opened at minus 120 to the over 6 here on Action Network, and it's 6.5 across the board. Yeah, obviously this was looking back at this spot, and now Dawes has been much better than Gillies, and the Devils have the type of players that might want to try to push this possibly tired Avalanche team. But we have so many games we have to get through. So
you know what?
I can't.
Sorry, give me the bag. Yeah. I also I kind of like this spot for the Devils. I also have the Devils first period goal as a bet that I made and as a play that I wanted to make official. So I'll throw that one on there as well. It's just minus 144 right now at Pinnacles. That's the over half where Devils to score in the first period. Minus 144. I'll throw that one on as well.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense to me.
Just because
defense, I don't get it. I thought Kemper is good. Kemper has been good when he was not expected to be the number one goaltender. When he came up in LA, it was Quick was the guy, and Kemper kind of flew under the radar. And I don't know how good he is. When he was moved over to Arizona, I mean, was he that good? He's average, above average, maybe. Let's keep rolling, Pete. But I like your two spots. I like the Devils team total over 2.5 and minus 110 better than that first period over a half, even if the one is maybe less likely, just because I don't like the minus 144 juice. But you've handled all these. Some you mix and match big favorites or a lot of juice and no vig, and you're sitting here 53 wins, 45 losses at 54.1%. So keep it up and keep rolling. Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. Next game is Vegas and Philly, right, Jim?
Yes, we move on to Vegas, Philly. Take it away.
All right, so Vegas beat Ottawa last game, but just by one as a huge home favorite. They're just 4-5 since the break. The wins have been kind of uninspiring, but then Philly, huge. Who is the guy who told us that Philly was out partying last Tuesday? Was that Kyle Hintlian?
Kyle Hintlian.
What a call there, Jimmy the Bag, right? I mean, it didn't take me off of my one bet on Philly, but it definitely kept me off of doubling or tripling up on it. What a call by Kyle Hintlian. Philly is just a team that I just want to fade. I mean, in their last game, right, they talked about how they played with urgency. This was a game they were going to get, and I actually bet them on that one, but I had the -1, so I got a push. They were at home against Chicago, and they still only won by 1. So when you have a team coming at home, giving it everything they've got, and they're facing Chicago and they win by 1, that's a sign that anytime that team is giving less than 100%, they're going to get smashed. And this might be another spot. I mean, Vegas is, Eichel's playing well for them. Question is just how awesome is Vegas really? I had them in the beginning of the year pegged as, only a little bit worse than Colorado. What's your take on Vegas right now?
I lost betting the Ducks over them. I had a winning day on Friday of 3-2 plus a unit, but one of my losses was saying that the Ducks, I think with this roster now, it's imperative for me to have Getzlaf in the lineup, and he's been questionable over the last little while, but I don't think Vegas is that good of a hockey team. I don't think they're that good of a hockey team. I mean, Lehner, how many saves did Lehner have to make to beat 39 saves for them, and Eichel scoring the game winner with 5.6 seconds left on the power play after the Shabbat tripping penalty? I don't know. I think that Lehner could get hot. That will help them. But without Stone, do they have Patches back? They're trying to get Janmark back. Alec Martinez, they've been waiting for him to come back. What level is he going to be playing at when he returns? Look, and now they head east. I don't think they're that good of a hockey team. 18.1% power play, 79.1% penalty killing. Look, we know Mark Stone is a very special hockey player, and they're paying him a boatload of money. And he's on this long-term IR, and he has to be, or they can't bring him back right now because they'd be over the cap limit. So I don't think they're a very good hockey team, and I think that they're in great danger of missing the playoffs. And this road trip is so important. They could slip out of the playoffs, the playoff spot on this road trip.
Yeah, Jim, are you still talking?
No, when my mouth is moving,
I'm just looking at this. I want to keep a brisk pace here, but I have to think that Philly is just such a fade team in general, especially coming off a win. I mean, we talk about teams that get fat and happy. If Philly wins one game in a row, my sense is that now they're definitely fat and happy and maybe partying. And Nutflesh Allen says goals for Vegas. I was thinking maybe about the Vegas team total over as well, and I was thinking maybe just the over at 6. Although, is it still at 6? Let me see. Where is it? Yeah, it's still at 6. What do you think about the over?
I love overs when Philadelphia is involved, so I get it. But this Vegas team is not scoring. They're not making things look easy.
Right.
Turkey says, so Stone really hurt? Because if he's not, they're going to need to make some moves to get him back in the line for the playoffs. That's such a good question. All of the NHL's been asking that question. Is Stone really hurt? I don't know. This could work so well for them if they can bring him back at some point. But Turnsy's right. They still have to make moves. I love overs with the Flyers involved. I don't trust Vegas's offense right now. And Carter Hart's been okay. Nate Dogg 420 leaning over.
So you're really not too high on Vegas right now, huh?
No, not at all. I think they're a vulnerable hockey team.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, but do you want them? I mean, like, at what price? This is probably a fair price for them. I don't think they should be a bigger favorite here.
Yeah. I'm an inch away from taking Vegas -1, -106. So if they win 4-3 or something like that, I get a push. I don't want to think about it too much because we got to keep a brisk pace. But just your 5-second read on Philly. This is a team that's just in shambles, right, Jimmy the Bag? Are they? The last game they were inspired. Are they going to come inspired 2 games in a row, or are they just
Kevin Hayes? Kevin Hayes has not been good this year when he's been in the lineup, but he just missed another 16 games with a groin injury. He came back, and that was a big boost to the Flyers. They've had no depth at center for some time, so having Hayes returning is helpful, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people saying that they like the over. All right, Jimmy the Bag. I don't want to – if Vegas does roll here and Philly's just awful, I don't want to feel frustrated that I didn't take them. I'm looking at Pinnacle right now. I'll take Vegas -1 at just at -106. Vegas -1, -106. If Philly comes in and smashes them, okay, I'll eat the loss.
Vegas -1 at -106 for Pistol Pete Loshak. Yeah, this is a spot where I can't. I don't want anything to do with it. Let's move on to Florida, Pittsburgh.
All right, Florida, Pittsburgh. Maybe we should just choose the games that we feel lost on to be the ones that we don't talk about that much. This is a fascinating matchup, but as far as the situation and the lines in the game, I really have no feel for this one. Florida, obviously an awesome team. They're on a back-to-back. They pounded Buffalo last night. And Pittsburgh, my question is, are they a near elite team, or are they basically just a little better than mediocre? Obviously, with Malkin back, that's a big positive. But my sense is that Pittsburgh might be just a little bit better than mediocre, as opposed to just a little bit worse than elite in general. So the line is -105 on both sides. That Florida rookie, Lundell, I think he was out last game. If he's injured, if he's out for this game, that's a little bit of a knock for Florida. But they are deep. This is a pass for me. I have no play on it, and I don't feel like I have a good sense of what's likely to happen here either.
Aaron Rodgers is officially going back to the Packers, and baseball's dead still.
Sad young man. He's a sad young man, and I don't think Rodgers returning to Green Bay made him feel any better. So there's been a big market move towards.
He's just a voice of authority when it comes to breaking news.
towards Florida. There's been a market move towards Florida. Dennis Garcia says Pittsburgh is elite. You watch them go into Tampa, outshoot Tampa 2-1, and dominate them 5-1. Only an elite team can do that. Then the very following night, we were all on Carolina, all on the under 6.5. We cashed it under 6.5. We pushed the Carolina -1, but Carolina outshot them 2-1. And they are a veteran squad. They have some older legs on them. Are they vulnerable on the second half of back-to-backs? Maybe that's something we should look at. Here are the Panthers on the second half of back-to-back after securing their third straight win, 6-1 at the Sabres last night. These are two very good hockey teams. Not just above average. They're two very good hockey teams, very dangerous hockey teams. And now the Panthers have outscored Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo 15-3 on this 3-game trip. So this is going to be a much tougher situation. Much, much tougher situation. And that came on the heels of that 3-game losing streak at home. So now that game in Buffalo, that starts a stretch of 9 of 10 road games for the Panthers. We're going to get a good idea who they are. And you're right about Lundell. We don't know at this point. Like, he's still being evaluated, but he's been very good this year and being a big part of their depth, as is Mason Marchment. How the Leafs don't keep Mason Marchment is, beyond me. I mean, you need some toughness in that group, in that Leafs group. Pack of pussies. Penguins are well rested. They had their 3-game winning streak snapped in that 3-2 overtime loss. Crosby 6-game point streak with 3-game goal streak. Malkin has points in 7 of his past 8 games. And it looks like Teddy Bluger will be back. So he had the broken jaw. Looks like he'll be back. 2-way center, a penalty killer, face-off guy. At this price, I don't see how you don't take Pittsburgh. Yes, I know Pittsburgh's at home, Ron. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Talking about the graphics. Yeah. So I don't know how you. I think at this price you take Pittsburgh, especially coming off that 3-2 loss to Carolina. I mean, how do you not take Pittsburgh here? Now that we're talking about, look, Florida's won 12 of 24 games on the road. Who cares what they did to Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo?
Nutflush Allen says, I think Pittsburgh has been on the wrong side of bad breaks and could be a moneymaker down the stretch. Would you vaguely agree with that, Jimmy the Bag, or disagree with it? And don't disagree with it because it's not flush. Give us your honest opinion.
I think it's going to be. I mean, the market knows how good they are, so it's. But I agree. This would be that situation. Diesel says, "Don't you think the Pens are juiced?" I mean, if you're talking about Vig, this is a great spot to take them as a home dog. How could you not take them as a home dog? The question is, you have to take them. Or the answer is, you have to take them as a home dog. You have to. So I'm going to take them. That'll be my first bid my first spot on the board. Now I kind of, I've got the Panthers to win the division, the Atlantic, not the Met, but obviously, so I wouldn't. Pittsburgh is just they're too good to not be taken as a home dog in all spots. Turnsey says Carter shots on goal. Jeff Carter, by the way, because that was a bet made on another thing I'm involved in, and he did nothing last game. No stat. I mean, he won 7 of 17 faceoffs, but Jeff Carter, no shots, no takeaways, no hits, squad ass, zilch. So yeah, I think the Pittsburgh is a must bet here.
Really?
I mean, how could you not take Pittsburgh at home?
Well,
they didn't be very good at home either.
I can answer that for you perfectly, Jimmy the Bag, and I will quote Turnsy66, who just posted it. I will not bet against Florida, period.
I get it. They're a good hockey team.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Penguins at home here. Going to take them off a loss. And remember, they had 4 days off before that back-to-back. Who cares? Look at the Florida beat Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo. Okay, we got to keep rolling.
Yeah. All right. You want to move on?
Sorry, you guys. Pittsburgh is at home. Sorry, so don't worry about the graphic, Diesel. And the market was this way. It was Pittsburgh favorites moved heavily in the Florida Panthers direction, and Pittsburgh is now a slight dog.
Okay. Want to move on?
Yeah. Yes, Cashman19 says, this is where a spot I say books put Pittsburgh as an underdog because they either want money on Pittsburgh or because Florida is going to win.
Michael Irvelina says Panthers do struggle on the road and the Pens always step up. I'm thinking Pittsburgh might be a decent play. I might add that at the end of the show, but let's move on. All right, Jim?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Seattle and Toronto, another tough one. Toronto in general, based on everything I've heard from you and read in the comments section, is a team that I think is overvalued. And again, I did fade them in their last game against Columbus, and I made money with it because my much bigger bet was on the Columbus team total over, which cashed. Now they're a massive favorite here, but Seattle is just not an Ottawa-type team that is a big underdog, but still has value as a huge underdog most of the time. They're really just not winning. 1-9 in their last 10, right? The one win was at home by 1 against Nashville, a team that we've all circled as a team that's likely to be overvalued and a fade going forward. I think Seattle really sucks, so I don't want to take Seattle here. I guess I can't pull the trigger on Toronto. If I had to make a bet on this one, I'd probably take like Seattle +5 at like -8,000 or something like that. I don't know. This is going to be a pass for me, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, I get why it would. I have interest in Seattle. If anybody has any interest in Seattle, wait. You know money's going to come in on the Leafs. I don't want Seattle over.
Spreadsheet play of the day is Toronto in regulation. So Ron Crawford, at least not thinking Toronto's overvalued, at least in this spot.
No, and look, Seattle's bad. But Sammy B nails it because, Sammy B's here in Toronto with me. And Sammy B says, Seattle's trash, but tough to back Toronto with these goalies letting everything in. He says over looks like the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, there's never a wrong time to take a over with this squad when the Leafs are playing. Let's just see what it opened at here very quickly in the Seattle-Toronto spot. It's opened at 6.5 minus 105, so being very little movement there. So Grubauer's been bad all year, and Campbell, he's just frittered away 30 mil, guessing, of his free agent contract that he was going to sign, maybe 30, 35 mil. That's what this losing streak has cost him. So he's in his head. He understands what's happened here. He's just lost so much money over the last 25 games. Toronto power play 29.1%, penalty killing 83.4%. Kraken coming off their second straight loss 3-2 at Carolina on Sunday. They played well. Kyle Yarncroc, goal and an assist. Wenberg added a goal. They're 1-8-1 over their past 10. Leafs are on the second half of a back-to-back. They snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 5-4 win at Columbus, an underwhelming victory. Austin Matthews, yes, he's a beast. Scores his 40th goal of the season. Only him and Daryl Sittler have 4 40-goal seasons. Marner, Bunting. I mean, this line looks so good together. But this game means, if we talk about what teams don't show heart enough, the Leafs are one of them. This game doesn't mean anything to the Leafs, and it means a ton to the Kraken players to play in Toronto in front of a sold-out Air Canada Center. This is one of the biggest games of the season for the Seattle Kraken. So why wouldn't we like them early? I don't, when the Leafs are coming in, second half back-to-back, banged up, tired, don't care, and this means a ton to the Kraken. I don't see how the Kraken first period wouldn't be on our radar. Now, plus a half, minus 130, that's not worth it. And I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. And then if this is the case, if we think that the Kraken are capable of doing something in this game, then and you don't trust them to beat the Leafs, the over 2.5 at minus 105 is staring you in the face. So I'm not sure. But
ahead,
I don't want the Leafs early. Certainly don't want the Leafs early.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it, but I would be interested in maybe Seattle first period as well. But I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. Let's move on, okay?
Okay, well, I am going to do something with Seattle, whether that be a first period or the team total over 2.5. But I'm not going to do anything for a while. I'm going to let all the Leafs money roll in. Matty Ice, if I was the Pittsburgh Penguins and I was playing Florida, I would have a very similar game plan as Carolina, the Carolina game. But if you want a low-scoring game, you need the Penguins to be in front because they parked the bus. They're pretty good at it, even though it didn't work in the Carolina game. But they do that. I expect them to keep attacking because they were outshot 2-1 in the Carolina game, a little more so than usual. I mean, they beat up on Tampa and they had a bad game versus Carolina. So I would not. If I had a free bet, anytime Pittsburgh's playing against an elite hockey team, I love taking unders, and I did that against Carolina. So it was minus 105 right now. Diesel says, why do you like the Kraken? I just very clearly put, this is a huge game for Seattle, and their players are all going to be revved up, and McCann just signed a 5-year, $25 million contract, and the Leafs couldn't care less about playing the Kraken. That's why I like the Kraken early. But let's keep rolling. We have the spreadsheet play today. NHL is in Toronto regulation. We move on to Arizona, Detroit. Pete, take it away.
All right. This one, I did take a shot with it. At first, I was like, all right, this is what I like, but I'm going to wait to see what the comment section, what Jimmy the Bag has to say. And then I was like, I won't wait. I'll take a shot with it. You can probably guess what I took a shot with, considering my nervousness about it. I did take a shot with Detroit as a huge favorite. Now, I understand that Arizona is a team that you guys have talked about. You think is going to be undervalued going forward. In general, a bet on team, especially as a big dog. They blasted Ottawa last game. They have wins over quality teams as a huge underdog, but it was all at home, right? Now they go on the road. Detroit lost 4 of 5, but they were all against top teams. And I took a shot with Detroit here, even at the high line of minus 172. I understand why that might not be a play that a lot of people would agree with, or people would, maybe leaning towards Arizona. And maybe I'll pull it if I hear, compelling evidence or compelling argument that Arizona has just turned a corner and that they should be bet in all situations as this big of a dog. But feels like a spot for Detroit, and I took them at minus 172. What do you think, Jim?
I think it has to be a spot for Detroit. I, too, don't want to fade Arizona anymore. But after they score 8 goals and Schmaltzy goes for 7 points, how do you not fade them here? They have to be feeling so good about themselves. I think this is got to be the right look. Sammy B likes it. Coyotes 16, 35, and 4, 7, 15, and 3 on the road. Red Wings 24, 26, and 6, 16, 11, 3 at home. Wedgwood, I've got Wedgwood, Nedeljkovic. You guys know what I think of Nedeljkovic. He's not going to be a starting goaltender for much longer. And Wedgwood is saved his whole career with how he's played the last little while, but neither has very good numbers. Arizona power play at 12.6, Pelican at 73.7. Clint says, my Yotes are playing their asses off. Let's go Coyotes. We buzzing right now. Wedgwood playing amazing. Keep doubting. Look, I've not faded Arizona at all for a while. But how do you not fade them here? Let's just talk about it a tiny bit more, and then I think I will pull the trigger with you. Detroit power play and penalty killing poor, just like Arizona's. The only advantage, they have a 4% better power play. Coyotes coming off their second straight win, 8-5, as I said. Schmaltz scored 7 points. So that's the most by an NHL player since Gagne put up 8 in 2012. I was watching that game when Gagne put up 8. It was wild. So they have won 4 of their past 6. Schmaltz has 6 goals, 8 assists in those 6 games. And, he's got 33 points in 36 games. But the Wings come in off their second straight loss, 6-2 at the Panthers on Saturday night. In their last 8 losses, they've given up 51 goals. This is an angry group.
And they were playing a tough bunch of teams in those losses.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. I'd just like to see where the market has gone in this Red Wings spot.
All right, we can make this official, and I won't do the old -1, and then they win by 1, and then I got to push. I'll just take them on the money line, -170. That's what I bet. If it loses, I'll be pissed, and people will be like, Pete, that's why you suck at capping. You take so many big favorites. And they might be right. I don't know. I bet it. I'll take it. Detroit money line -170. Current line Heritage I'm seeing. Maybe there's a better line somewhere else, but I'll take that one. Detroit -170 money line.
Oh, a rare appearance for Rusty Kunt. Rusty Kunt. This is I'm going to move on to Red Wings -1. Have to fade the Coyotes after scoring 8 goals and feeling good about themselves against this Red Wings team that's clearly angry about the situation they're in. And I like Blashill, and I think he'll have them ready to go. So let's move on to Senators Blues. Rusty's back. All right, let's roll.
Okay. You want to move on?
Yeah, Ottawa, St. Louis.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe taking a shot with the first period as well. But yeah, let's move on. Okay, Ottawa and St. Louis. Very similar to the last game, except you got a much bigger favorite line, and I did not pull the trigger on this one. And I was looking at this game. Man, Ottawa gets so disrespected. But they're actually kind of decent. I know they've lost 5 in a row, but all against good or kind of like rising teams. But they just get so disrespected, similar to our man Jose Bouquet, who's killing us all in handicapping, but just still can't get that respect, man. I was looking at this line and I was like, St. Louis is probably gonna make a huge fave, and I was like, I'm guessing -220 or so. But then I was like, that's a little bit nuts. And then I saw -280. It's a spot for St. Louis. I know they're great at home. They're like 19-6-2 here. I want to take St. Louis, but I just can't. At -220, I probably would have. But at -280 or wherever it is right now, I can't pull the trigger on it. But, Ottawa lost 5 in a row. What's your take on Ottawa right now? Are they still undervalued?
Yeah, they're still undervalued. They're better than they look. I know they've lost 5 straight games, and they're just seething after losing to Vegas in that spot. And the problem is you come against a very angry Blue squad, lost 3 straight games as well. So and Binnington is stepping up. I'm not sure if it's Husso or Binnington right now, but you have 2 angry hockey teams playing against each other, and one's going to, give you the right price to bet them. Ottawa's the right price here, but this is an angry. Osby says, "Is this an under spot?" I mean, do we have Binnington confirmed? Because he's really trying to get his job back.
Let's
see.
The
Blues aren't scoring, and this Senators team wants their job back. This Binnington wants his job back. Senators play low-scoring hockey. But then we saw them go 8-5. I'm not comfortable with St. Louis and unders, even though they've been skewing that way of late. I'm not comfortable there. And these are two angry teams. I'm very, very comfortable staying off of this game.
Okay. Turnsy like Senators team total over a half first period. Yeah, Diesel says both teams have been hitting unders recently. All right, I guess I will pass on this one as well. All right, move on.
Yeah, let's move on to Stars Predators.
This is an interesting one, right? Dallas, Nashville. Dallas blasted San Jose in their last game. I'm sorry, Nashville blasted San Jose in their last game. Dallas now won 4 in a row, and we've talked about Dallas quite a lot this year. You had a great read on Dallas in the beginning of the season, where you said that they were a team that you expected to be very good, and that has been true. Although they also are the kind of team that gets fat and happy, quote unquote, fat and happy, and lets down in spots. They played recently, and Nashville was a big favorite there. Nashville won 2-1 in a shootout. Now they were a minus 150 favorite in that one. Now they're just like minus 120 or so. And the question is, will Dallas have some revenge on their minds? Will they continue to win as they have been? And are they, I don't know, fat and happy? I've always got that in the back of my mind whenever Dallas is playing well or appears to be playing well, an unexpected letdown in their next game. But I was thinking that maybe Dallas will play again here, and maybe first period. What do you think? Play on Dallas?
Well, you know what? I'm high on Dallas, and I expect to cash that season total points over. I think I'm in good shape for that right now. There's Tues-Thur Latte in the house.
Serious question. Why do you fade a good hot team against a bad cold team? Well, I would not call Arizona a good hot team. I would call them a formerly ass team that is now approaching mediocrity. Is that an accurate assessment, Jimmy the Bag?
I don't think that they're approaching mediocrity. No,
they're
having an okay run, and I think it's a perfect time to fade Arizona. The absolute perfect. No, look, I'm not saying that I'm going to cash, but it's just absolutely perfect. After they score 8 goals, it feels so good about themselves that you want to bet on an angry team. I didn't bet on Carolina because I thought they were better than Pittsburgh on Friday. I didn't think, I'm not sitting there going, oh, this is a better team. I'm saying Carolina just got shut out 4-0. Pittsburgh just beat the Stanley Cup champions 5-1. Of course I'm going to bet on Carolina. It's a no-brainer. I automatically bet on Carolina just because of the situation. Right. And I think the situation calls for it here.
So I'm not fading a good hot team. I'm fading a slightly better than ass hot team, which is something that I'm comfortable doing.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable, very, very comfortable betting on Detroit, who I think has really good young talent, and I know that they're going to be ready to play. Like, I know that their coach always has them ready to go. Like, both the Senators and Red Wings coaches, Blashill and DJ Smith, are guys that, you better be ready to play or you're not getting on the ice. And we've seen Larkin have a big year this year because of, I think, the coaching. I think it's has a big effect here. There's Prince of the City in the house. So let's get back to the Stars.
Shout out to Tues-Thur Latte.
Yeah, he's a great guy. What a great guy. And can't wait to be capping baseball with him this year. Hopefully we get the opportunity to. Mike M says, just because Arizona is winning doesn't mean they're getting better. The mindset of a player going to a league-ass team is hard to get up for. Easy to get caught sleeping, especially if team sits stars. Diesel says, so why is Dallas underdogs? The simple fact of it is Dallas has won 12 of 27 games on the road, and the Predators have 15 and 10 at home, and that's the advantage. The advantage is Nashville's at home. The question I have for you, Pete, is what do you think Nashville? How do they follow up an 8-0 win over San Jose?
I'm actually much more concerned with Dallas because clearly they're a talented team, but they have fat and happy / psychological tendencies, right? They have fat and happy tendencies. And that just now concerns me every time I'm thinking about betting them. But I think I will pull the trigger here. Are they the kind of team that they recently lost at Nashville? Are they the kind of team that's going to want to come back and make a statement here?
Sorry, I'm being big offers come in here. I will do this with you. I will make this bet with you, Clint, but I want an original song. I don't want some fucking. So I don't want you. I'm not going to send you over the. I want an original track. Now you could, maybe take some bars from other song, but I want an original track from you, and I'll give you an original track, or close to an original track. So that's what I'll do if it's original, and you're on. Okay, so let's get back here. Look, I can understand your concern about the Stars. The thing that's keeping them from being fat and happy, in my appraisal of this squad, is that they need to win to get into the playoffs. They're barely holding on here. I mean, where are they right now? So they're 4 points behind second place St. Louis. They're in a tie with Minnesota. I mean, they need this right now. They need to win right now. And so that's the one thing that I think. So if this is game 30 of the season, they've won 4 straight, then I would be concerned. And look, Pavelski has changed the feeling in look, and I'm still afraid to say dressing room because I get browbeaten by all you guys for years, even though that's what it's called in the sport of hockey. I'm still nervous. I still almost edit myself. Ridiculous. But Pavelski's changed everything for this hockey team being accountable. And Jason Robertson, you guys know how much I've talked about him all year. Him and Rupi Hintz and Pavelski is a favorite line of hockey. Now you got Radulov playing better hockey. You need Gurionov to step up. If you get Radulov and Gurionov to step up, we already know that Ben and Seguin can give you something. Seguin's been better than I expected. Now Heiskanen's been a little bit hurt, so that affects this team. You need a fresh Heiskanen, but
all right, you can make that decision for me. Dallas first period plus 112. Current line of Pinnacle. Dallas first period plus 112. I'll start with that.
So last time these two teams played, I lost both bets. I had the over 6. Now they're all the overs are cashing again with this team, and I think they'll continue to. Nashville just put up 8 goals. What are they going to do here? I'd like to bet Dallas in the over. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the balls to do it.
Well, I just took Dallas first period plus 112. And Saros, kind of a beast, diehard MMA podcast, clarified that for us early in the season. But he's been scorched recently, Jimmy the Bag. I mean, he had a good game against Dallas recently. But other than that, and the San Jose game was great. But other than that, every game he started, you got to go all the way back to Vancouver on February 1st to find the last game where he didn't give up, more than 2.5 goals.
I want to bet the Stars, but they need to go into Nashville and win this hockey game. They need to show that they could possibly be an elite team. Mike M says Dallas playing real loose and relaxed. I see him grabbing this W. God, I was staring at this game, thinking about this game. I see there's been a huge move towards the Predators. But there's been a huge move towards the Panthers, and I'm okay with that. And then, look, this total is sitting at 5.5, and I'm shocked that it's at 5.5. It shouldn't be at 5.5. Okay, so that's where I'll start. I'll take the over 5.5. Look, I know I lost on this. A week ago or whenever it was, but look, if the Predators win this game, I think it will be lower scoring. If Dallas wins this game, we're covering that for over 5.5. So but I'd like to bet Dallas, especially after Nashville wins 8-0 and they haven't been playing well. I'm scared to. I think I'm going to move on both again.
Okay. Is Saros a beast? How is Nashville defensively? They can give up some goals here and there, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not known for having accountable forwards, and they get a ton of offense from Roman Josi, so he has to put himself in some vulnerable situations. Now, Ekholm is a hell of a defensive defenseman. But yeah, they're not that strong defensively. But Saros has been very good this year, but he's been no better than Jake Ottinger all of a sudden.
Mike M says Dallas seems to find their form every season right before the playoffs and makes a decent run. It's that time. All right. I'd love to take Dallas on the full game and the team total over as well. I'm just going to stick with the first period plus 112 as my only official play.
Okay. I'm going to move on the over 5.5, and I expect to move on Dallas on the plus line. We got to keep rolling. We got lots of work to do. Let's go.
Rangers. All right. Next game is Rangers in Minnesota, right, Jim?
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, these are tough. We got to be careful. A lot of interesting situations here that we don't just drone on and on with analysis and wondering what's going to happen here. Rangers obviously winning, right? A quality team, that's for real. Minnesota obviously losing. Does that continue? And the question is that for real? Or is Minnesota going to be pissed and finally come and bring it? And this is a spot to try to time a turn of form for Minnesota. But my question is just, I thought that Minnesota was at least based on what all you guys were saying about them in the beginning of the year, at least significantly better than mediocre team, but maybe not. They've lost they're 2-8 in their last 10. Can they turn it around, or are they just a shitty team that even, dare I say it, is shittier than Arizona? Is that even possible? Is Minnesota literally shittier than Arizona right now, Jimmy the Bag?
No, well, right.
Because if they are, that would be super shitty.
I don't know how Bill Guerin's going to handle this. As you guys know, we talked about it, and I don't mean to go back to it because I know we got to move, but the salary recapture, the $14 million is going to be on the books for Suter and Parise next year. This is Minnesota Wild's 1 year, one chance to go for it. Now they've gone 2 of their last 10. They're 2-8 over the past 10. Bill Guerin must be losing his shit. I mean, I don't know how he's keeping himself together. By the way, a couple things have happened. One, Puzzler says Roto has changed to Binnington expected. Look, if Binnington's expected, I think the under 6 is a bet. Binnington is saying, I want to be the goaltender in the playoffs. And he's done it before. We watched him set. So I think that will change my thought process there. And then we also have, and then look at this. Fanatical Jim says last game they played the Wild embarrassed the Rangers on Lundqvist jersey retirement night. They took a lot of crap for that, and I think they come in hot. Rangers first period for sure. And then we have also Nut Flashan says Pete, I had to step away from it, but I'm going to be finishing up some info about Wings team total over 3.5 at +110 is one of my favorite looks.
Nice. Maybe I'll add that one on as well. Makes me feel better about my bet for sure.
Okay, so I need to remember because of this insomnia shit I'm going through. I need to remember to get to keep an eye on that. I'm interested in that under 6 now in that Blue Senators game. I don't know I cannot understand what's going on with Minnesota's defense. They have forwards other than that, Hartman, Kaprizov, but even the Hartman, Kaprizov, Zuccarello line. If you look at Hartman's plus minus, it's been unbelievable until the last 10 games. Kevin Fiala, too, they've so many weapons and so much depth, and I don't know why they're struggling. The only thing you could say is their goaltending's been kind of poor. I mean, you have Talbot, 2.98 goals against average, 908 save percentage. Kakkonen's been better. I'd like Kakkonen in net. I don't want to poke the bear. I don't want to poke Minnesota. I think that they're still a really well-built hockey team, even though they're not showing it right now.
My note on this one was it matters a lot whether it's Shesterkin or Georgiev in goal for the Rangers. If it's Shesterkin, maybe a shot with the under. If it's Georgiev, maybe Minnesota team total over, or Minnesota -1 or something like that.
Let's do Chaos in the House. This is dangerous. You have a very angry Minnesota Wild team going up against the best goaltender in the NHL. What is the total on this game? All the Wild games have been going over. This is at 6 juice to the over. This is a very tricky spot. I was praying because all these Minnesota games are going such high scoring. I was like, maybe they give us a 6.5. We try to get underneath it. Puzzler said Talbot confirmed. So there's no way I can touch Minnesota with Talbot being in. But this is an angry group that I don't want to that seeing the playoffs disappear from their future as we speak. So I got to stay off of this spot. There's enough places I'm going to attack.
Okay, move on.
Turnsy said, I want Wild, but I can't with Talbot. Lil C says Rangers money line with Shiesty is always a good look. Yeah, I mean, Shiesty's the best in the league. Okay, let's move on to Tampa, Winnipeg.
All right, Tampa, Winnipeg. Another one similar to the Rangers Minnesota game, right? Except more stark, I guess. Tampa Bay basically rolling, just winning game in and game out, and Winnipeg very beatable, right? Lost 6 of their last 8. Hellebuck in goal. Who cares? Doesn't really matter. This is a team that doesn't have great defense and basically loses. So unless we think that this might be some kind of a psychological letdown spot for Tampa Bay if they, they've won 7 out of 8. If they're not going to come in here fully motivated to get that to 8 out of 9, can't see taking this game anyway. But Tampa Bay, not a huge favorite. Winnipeg maybe a little bit more rested, but it looks to my eye that just Tampa Bay just way outclasses them, and that there's nothing that Winnipeg can really do to shore things up defensively. Or would you disagree with that, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, look, the Jets are 14-11-2 at home, but when Canada Life Center is sold out, they're a tough team to play because they do have high-end talent. So the first thing I want to do is take the over 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think there will be goals in this game, and I think that it will be fun to watch. You also have 2 penalty killing units that aren't very good. 80.4% for Tampa, 77% for Winnipeg, and power plays that are good. And you have Nikolai Ehlers back, who's going to even improve the Jets' power play. Look, you're getting a really nice price on the Lightning. Don't get me wrong. They've outscored their opponents 19-11 during this road winning streak, 4 straight. They're getting action. 6 of their past 15 goals have come from defensemen. Sergachev is even popping goals in. We know what Edmund can do. Jets coming off their second straight loss, 4-1 at home versus the Rangers on Sunday, so Shesty just shut them down. I don't expect them to get shut down back-to-back, but Winnipeg's allowed 4 goals in 3 straight games. They're allowing 3.6 goals per game over their last 11 games. They won 1 of their last 4 home games. So, and Hellebuck is not being good. So I want the over. And why wouldn't we take the Lightning at this price? They're winning road games. This is a really good price for the Lightning. Why are we getting such a good price for the Lightning? I mean, does it worry you at all that we're getting this price, that they're not minus 190 or minus 200?
I don't know. I mean, I'm no hockey analyst here, but at the beginning of the year, I was like, this guy Hellebuck, I was like, dude, this guy kind of sucks. And everyone was like, no. Top 10 players in the NHL. And now I'm like, no, man, he still sucks, man. And, is there any reason to believe that Hellebuck will turn it around in any significant way? When I say Hellebuck, I mean Hellebuck with Winnipeg in front of him. It might not be his fault. That Winnipeg will turn it around defensively in any significant way in the upcoming weeks or months?
We've been waiting for it all year. He won the Vezina in 2019. So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Okay, Diesel, I got you. I'll be in touch for sure. I think the over in the Lightning. I mean, how's this? This feels like a 5-3 win for the Lightning or a 5-2 win for the Lightning. But I don't like fading Winnipeg at home, and maybe that the fact that you're only getting this number for the Lightning is of a vividness bias with the market. But we got to keep rolling. We have so many college games to get through. Pete.
Okay, yeah, I could probably talk myself into a play on that one, but let's move on. All right, Anaheim, Chicago.
Yes, move on to Anaheim, Chicago.
Yeah, I was thinking that unless there's any reason to think that Anaheim might not be hungry here, that Anaheim would be a play. And I did take a small shot with them. I got plus 105. I also kind of like the team total over. Anaheim shows that they're one of these teams. See this in all sports. A mid-range team that beats the teams below them, loses to the teams above them, and from a gambling perspective, that can be very nice because you can have spots like this where you get a team where I think they should have a solid edge at not a big price because they do get beat by the top teams in the league. Chicago, I don't see why that would be why Chicago is. I would rate them as a below average team, right? Anaheim as a dog, and maybe the Anaheim team total over are 2 plays that I'm liking here. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I agree. Also, Getzlaf and Gibson are expected to be back. Blackhawks coming off their second straight loss, 6-3 at home to the Lightning on Sunday. Derek King he seems to be more passive than I expected him to be, but they're a tricky team to coach. You have DeBrincat, Kane, and Strome playing well right now. So DeBrincat, 7 points past 5 games. Kane, 11 points last 6 games. Strome, 5 points past 3 games. So why wouldn't this be an over? And and I like the Ducks. I think they're a better hockey team than Chicago. And they're coming off their second loss in 3 games, 3-2 at home versus the Sharks on Sunday. They went 3-3 on that homestand, and now they're slipping out of the playoffs. This is a must-win game for the Ducks. So do I trust them to win? Do we know Getzlaf is in the lineup? Because if we know that Getzlaf is in the lineup, then I think that the over is kind of a little bit more appealing to me right now than the Ducks. But I like the plus line beside the Ducks, and I think the Ducks are a better hockey team. I don't know why I mean, is Getzlaf enough for them not to beat the sad sack Sharks team?
Is Anaheim hungry right now?
They haven't looked that way, but I'd be shocked that they have to be. And then Getzlaf coming back will help them. Yeah, I mean, I guess I like the Ducks and the over.
Okay, hold on one second. I need to figure out what I want to do.
I think I'm hesitant just because I lost on the Ducks against Vegas on Friday. It's just playing in my head.
Yeah, the Anaheim team total over 2.5 minus 130 at Heritage. Whoever's in goal for Chicago doesn't really matter. I mean, they seem like they. Yeah, I'm just worried whether this is going to be some kind of a down spot for Anaheim after the OT win against San Jose. But they got to string wins together, right? They know that, right?
You know, I like backing teams after playing the best team in the league and losing to them. And look, Lightning is arguably the best team in the league, but I can see why Turnsey says hard pass here. Have a feeling Hawks win. I understand why he's hesitant to take the Ducks on the road. Why would we really? The Ducks have given us no reason to be confident in them. You know, the only they haven't done anything, but they get Getzlaf back.
They do beat subpar teams, though.
They do. No, that's true. They have looked bad since the All-Star break.
Yeah. Oh man, you think it's a down spot for Anaheim here?
It can't be if Getzlaf and Gibson are coming back and they get to go on the road and play in Chicago. You know, I'd like to just check something out very quickly here for this. Okay, let me just check one thing out, and then we'll move on to Washington, Calgary, and then we'll get into college basketball very quickly here. Let me just go into this game against Tampa. I mean, are we talking? Is this a? I mean, they're not selling out against the Stanley Cup champs. They're not selling out against Stanley Cup champs. I mean, they're not going to sell out here. Still, there'll be more people in the stands than there were with the Ducks. The over is a for sure bet, and I like the Ducks here, but
all right. You know, it might lose, but I'll take the Anaheim team total over 2.5 minus 130 at Heritage right now. Team total over 2.5 minus 130.
All right, sounds good to me.
Okay, move on.
Let's move on to the final game on the card.
Washington, Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one is. Let me see. Where are we here? Yeah. Calgary, obviously, you know, on a back-to-back, they beat Edmonton last night, 11-2 since the break, really winning. You know, but I think it's 5th game in 8 days for Calgary. Washington is more rested. They haven't been great. We expected them to maybe fade as the season wore on with all their aging stars. But you know, so I don't really want to fade Calgary here, even as you know, getting just a small dog line. But I was thinking about maybe a shot with the over. Although you know, since he's come back, Vanacek has been good, right, in goal for Washington. This is a tough one. I was thinking maybe over. It's not a good spot for Calgary, but I don't want to fade them pretty much ever right now, especially not getting a big dog line. So I guess it's going to be a pass for me, but I was leaning over, thinking about it. Although Vanacek's been playing well, so maybe not.
Vanacek's been playing very well.
Yeah.
But, you know, Vladar has nightmares of this Capital squad. 8-10 save percentage against them, 5.39 goals against average. Now, I don't care about those stats because it's only 2 games and, you know, why there's not like a rivalry between Calgary and Washington. I probably shouldn't even have mentioned it, but it is a stat that was thrown at me. I don't trust Vladar, and Vanacek has been very good since he came back. And Capitals are coming off their second straight win, 5-2 at home over Arizona on Saturday. Now they hit the road against. I mean, this is a perfect setup for Washington to snake a victory over the Flames, but at plus 115, that's all you're going to get to fade this spectacular Flames hockey team. And also keep an eye out for this. This Capitals power play has been atrocious all year long, and we didn't get it. We couldn't understand why. They've gone 5 for 11 over that 3-game homestand, and also 10 for 10 on the penalty kill. They went 2 for 2 with the man advantage against Seattle on Saturday, and Vanacek's now playing great. Puzzler says Samsonov expected, and so the same with Christopher Comtini says Samsonov expected. By the way, Jimmy Gomez, who knows this Anaheim team inside and out, knows them so close. He says Anaheim are hungry, but fatigue and player strength are showing up, or rather a lack thereof. Says Fleury also career 20-5 with a 1.8 goals against average against them. Says taking Chicago, fading my boys tonight. Just business and money.
I just read those comments. That doesn't make me feel good. Well, all right, maybe they win 4-3. Yeah.
I can't believe the market's telling us that the Capitals are in a very dangerous spot here. But if it's Samsonov versus Vladar, then the play is the over. And there's going to be goals scored. For sure there's going to be goals scored. The reason why I wasn't going to take it was because I thought Vanacek was going to be in the lineup. So do we have Vanacek? I'm shocked that Samsonov is expected. So I'll take the over in this spot and call it a day.
Yeah, I was going to maybe think about the Washington team total over as well. Minus 130 or so.
Yeah. Well, we got to make moves. All
right. Let me. I mean, Calgary, how are they defensively, though? They do tend to hold people down, though, especially at home.
They're just such a good team that you're sort of always on your heels against them. It's not that they have great defensive awareness. I mean, guys like Lindholm play, both ends of the rink, but you're on your heels the whole time against this squad, and they have the size. And so
I remember in February, they had a string of 10 straight home games where the opposing team scored 2 or fewer goals, and that was including like Toronto and Columbus and the Islanders and Vegas, St. Louis, Florida.
They're a dangerous, dangerous squad.
But who's in goal? It's not going to be Markstrom, is it?
No, it's Vladar.
How much does that matter?
A ton. You're talking about a guy who's been a top 5 goalie in the NHL this year to a guy who's a bottom 10 goalie in the NHL.
Yeah. All right. I'll take Caps team total over 2.5 minus 130. Whatever. Ugh.
Okay, let's go over all of the action and get into college basketball soon. Let's push. Jose, can you push? Send a message to. You know what? I'll send a message. I'll send it while we're capping. So don't worry. I'll send a message, but we'll push it back 10 minutes for NBA. Okay, this is the NHL action. Then we get into college basketball. Again, Pistol Pete gave us 17 plays. It went 10-6-1 last week, plus 3.27 units. It was a thing of beauty. His ROI is now over 10.90%, and that's with 73 games included. Pete is on the Devils team total over 2.5, and the Devils first period over a half at minus 144. I like both those looks. I get both those looks. I think those are really good looks. I think they're really good looks. Okay, I'm going to put a couple of notes here. Okay, then Pete's on Vegas -1 at minus 106. I'm going to move on the Penguins. I don't care the market's moving towards the Panthers. And let's just take a look very quickly at where the money is in that spot. Just 2,874 tickets in, but 51% of the tickets on Florida, 68% of cash. Big bets coming out on Florida. And Vamelka is also confirmed. Thank you. There's Deacon Mike and House. What up, Deacon? So I'm going to move on Seattle first period, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. That game doesn't pop off till 7:30. I want all the money to come in on Toronto. Then Red Wings -1. I will be moving on. Pete's on the Wings money line at minus 170. I am going to move with Binnington in on the under 6 in the Sens game. There we go. Pete's on the Stars first period at plus 112. I'm going to move on both the Stars and the over 5.5 minus 120. And maybe, hopefully, the Stars can win 10 straight here. But I like that I have all the future action on them. I think they're separating themselves from everybody other than the Colorado Avalanche in that division. But the Wild, obviously, I'm shocked that they're playing so bad. Rangers, Minnesota Wild, we are off. I'm going to move on both the over 6 and the -1 on the Lightning and Lightning Jets. Then, Pete, you're on the Ducks team total over 2.5. I'm going to move on the over. I think I'm getting cold feet on the Ducks. And then, Pete, you're on the over 2.5 in the Capitals Flames game. And I'm on the over 6. And I wish I could move on the Capitals, but I just don't really feel like the risk reward is there. That is our NHL schedule. Let me just look at this here. Okay, so are you ready to get to work here in college basketball?
Yeah, I have a great read on college basketball in general. In February, conference tournaments are a little bit unpredictable. You can do in-depth research. People who follow teams and conferences very closely for the entire year, or hopefully years going back, tend to have great reads on conference tournaments. But the sort of riding the waves approach that worked so well for me in college basketball in February does not do nearly as well in March when it comes to the conference tournaments. I did have a losing day yesterday. Just for a disclaimer here, just a caveat, just to let everyone know about that. I had a great day on Saturday, as long as we're being honest here. But I had a big losing day yesterday. Had a bunch of horrible picks in conference tournament games yesterday. But I got a bunch of plays today, and I'm ready to share them. And the one thing I can guarantee you is that everything I say I'm on, I'm actually on.
I love it. I love it. You guided me to a winning day on Tuesday, and a lot of us. So let's roll. But first, razor sharp picks, doing something that's never been done here before. Hitting back-to-back pick fives has never been done. And now he's going for back-to-back pick fives. This starts at race 7. At Parks. Race 7 at Parks, a $67.50 pick 5. And he has singled the first race, which is so exciting. Why do I see? Am I missing it? I only see 4. Oh, yeah, I only see 4 spots, Razor. 3, then. Oh, sorry, there should be a slash after 2510. So 3, 2510 slash 349, 348, 13456. That's a really exciting pick 5, man. When you single the first race, if you can get past that first race, you are in business. Man, thank you for sharing that with us, Razor. I will copy and paste that. Again, going for his 3rd straight pick 5 casher. Okay, let's get right to work. Pistol Pete and an attack here. And again, I will just be setting a table for you and watching you work. And if you want to pass on the game, we just pass on the game. No problems. We're going to go conference tournament by tournament. We're going to start in the ACC, Atlantic Coast Conference, 2 p.m. First round, Boston College Eagles, 11-19, 6-14 in conference versus Pittsburgh Panthers, 11-20, 6-14 in conference here. Let's get a couple things up here. First off, let's move the odds and get over to NCAA basketball and see if I can give some market moves here. First off, Boston College opening up as 1.5-point favorites. They've moved to 2 at most books. And that will be a versus, not ad. I apologize if I said verse, or it didn't say ad or whatever. The total opening up at 129. It's moved up a half point at some books and a full point at FanDuel. Both teams come in on losing streaks. Boston College lost 3 straight. They lose to Georgia Tech last game of the regular season, 82-78 in overtime. And Pittsburgh losing at Notre Dame by 24. They've lost 3 straight. Now, they played Georgia Tech at home and lost 68-62, then lost 3 straight, all by 20-plus points. Not playing good basketball. Take it away here, Boston College, Pittsburgh Panthers.
Yeah, I did bet Boston College when they came out at -1. Of course, anything can happen in these conference tournaments, as we've seen already. Some people have a great read on them. I don't necessarily, but I did take a shot with BC at -1. I think I might like them a little bit better at on the first half. Pittsburgh, of course. I mean, you just look at their games. They've had some embarrassing blowout losses, as well as some incredible, impressive upset wins over good teams as a big underdog. So anything can happen here, but there's some reasons that I like. But I like BC here. They have some good offensive rebounding numbers that I think will matter here. Neither of these teams playing well. They struggle to shoot, all that. But I like BC a little bit, and I think I like them a little bit more in the first half. I don't know if I want to give it as an official play though, but I did bet BC. Maybe at the end of the segment I'll give that officially, but I don't want to give it officially as of right now.
We do have a taint play of the day in. We will talk about it when we get to that game. Raven in the Desert is on Boston College and the under, and Matty Ice saying that he leans first half under 59.5, but not official. Kyle Hintley is on Boston College. And I think we had some more here. Yeah. Okay, so let's just keep rolling. Newkirk says Boston College beat them both times this year, if that means anything. And Kyle Hintley says, I'm a Boston guy. Hate Boston College, but they win.
Yeah. I took them. Anything can happen, but I took them. I did bet them, and I don't know if I want. I might give it officially at the end, but as of right now, I will not give it officially.
Okay, we'll just keep a question mark there. All right, we stay in the ACC. The game right after this is NC State Wolfpack, 11-20, 14-16, 4-16 in conference versus the Clemson Tigers, 16-15, 8-12 in conference. And we have NC State opening up as 5.5-point dogs. They've moved to 5 or 4.5. This total opened up at 143. We see a 143.5, and there's 144.5 available. Galactic High, thank you so much for the dono, my man. Thank you so much for your support. Respect. Thank you so much for that. Kyle Hintley says Clemson for it all. He's making a big bet on Clemson. The Wolfpack come in on a 4-game losing streak. They lose by double digits to North Carolina at home, and then at Wake Forest and at Florida State. And now they move into the playoffs where Clemson's on the other side. They've won 4 straight games, coming off a 63-59 win at home over Virginia Tech. That was on the heels of a 68-65 win. Virginia Tech 68-65 win at Georgia Tech. Take it away here, Pete. Wolfpack Tigers.
Another interesting one. A lot of these horrible teams that just look awful during the regular season, do have a sense of resets when the conference tournaments come, and they're like, all right, our regular season was awful, but now the conference tournament, it's a new season, and you see that in all levels of college basketball. Some 7 seed or 9 seed makes an unexpected run. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen with NC State here, but I did take a shot with NC State first half +3. I might make that official. Clemson is the better team for sure, and it might be one of those games like the first game they played where it's close, and then for most of the way, and then Clemson pulls away late. Earlier this year they were very close with about 10 minutes left to play, and then and then Clemson took it, late in the game. But it's NC State's big freshman Terquavion Smith didn't have a good game in that one. I think NC State is playing with a little bit more, purpose recently. Clemson is pretty good at 3-point shooting, which is not great for this game either. It's a liability for North Carolina State, but I did take a shot with NC State first half +3, and I'm an inch away from making that official. Clemson is the better team for sure. They have some issues defensively, and NC State, I think, actually has some maybe under the radar decent 3-point shooting based on some advanced stats that I looked at. So I took a shot with NC State first half +3, and I would make that one official. We'll move on, but is anyone else commenting here? Yeah, Puzzle says, I don't trust NC State. Maddie,
yeah, Kyle Hintley says not NC State. They're checked out. Matty Ice says Clemson can fill it up. Diesel says NC State coach about to get fired. Mike M says teams having won 2 times in a row are dominating that third game, winning over 61% over the last 3 seasons and doing work the past 2 weeks. Puzzler does not trust NC State. Matty Ice says Clemson should have an easy win here. Cashman says Clemson's won 4 straight, including wins over Virginia Tech and Wake. Diesel says Clemson is the play. I can't lay points, though, with any team in March. Definitely going to have Clemson in parlays, though. And these are the 2 games.
I don't like NC State full game necessarily, but I did take them first half +3. I won't make that one official, though. Yeah, they might have checked.
These are the two games that have over 10,000 tickets in already calculated at Sports Insight. So 65% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on Boston College on the spread. 65% of tickets on the over, 59% cash on the over. Over to NC State, you have 45% of tickets on NC State, 41% of the cash, and then for the total 54 and 56 on the over. So let's move to the next game in the ACC. 3 games there tonight at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. ACC tournament first round. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 12-19, 5-15 in conference versus Louisville Cardinals 12-18, 6-14 in conference. We have. Sorry, let's move over to the. So many things up here. Apologize. Get this out of the way. And here we go. We have this game starting at 7:30. 130. Get over there. Love of God, why am I missing it? Here we go. Georgia Tech opening up as 1 point dogs. They've moved to 1.5 at some books. This total opened up at 134 and is now at 134.5. We have 39% of the tickets on Georgia Tech, but 47% of the cash. And then 55% of tickets on the over, but just 11% of cash. So the big bets have come in on the under in this spot. Georgia Tech snapped that losing streak. So they beat Boston College 82-78 at home in overtime in their last game of the regular season, just their 5th win in conference out of 20 games. And Louisville's lost 4 straight. So their last game in regular season schedule was at home versus Virginia. They lost by 10, 71-61. That came on the heels of a bad 75-43 loss at Virginia Tech, a bad 99-77 loss at Wake Forest, and the losing streak started at North Carolina, a 70-63 loss. Take it away here, Pete. Georgia Tech, Louisville.
Yeah, again, this might be wrong. I just took a small shot. I did take a small shot with Louisville. We remember earlier in the year, Louisville was looking like a good play for a likely at-large berth to the NCAA tournament, and then the rails completely came off of their season. So they're obviously a bit of a head case team, which Louisville will show up. I can understand why people would say that they are, packing the season in already. That might be true. But and again, this is the way college basketball goes. I make a bet that I think has an edge. Overall, my record is better than what it needs to be to make a profit. But there are definitely many, many picks I make that in retrospect are clearly the wrong side. And this might prove to be one of them. Georgia Tech, not a great team, but they can beat any other team that isn't showing up. And if that's the case with Louisville, then Georgia Tech will win by 10. This might be a live and halftime play. A game where a halftime play has a lot of value. But I did take a shot with Louisville -1. Considering that my record is positive in this show, I don't want to make that official, though. But I did bet Louisville -1.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Metro Atlantic here. We're going to start first round action. Ryder Bronx, 12-18, 8-12 in conference versus Manhattan Jaspers, 15-14. 8-12 in conference. We're in Atlantic City for this. Manhattan sitting as 1 point favorites. A couple books have moved over to Ryder as the favorites. This total opened up at 136.5. We see 137.5 and 138. Ryder comes in after snapping their 2-game losing streak with a 74-65 victory at home versus Monmouth to finish off the season. And then Manhattan had that interesting game versus Iona. Iona had already clinched. They clearly came in unfocused, and Manhattan took advantage of it, snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 74-72 win, and that is where we stand right now. Take it away here, Pete. Ryder, Manhattan.
All right. Actually, you know what? Diesel says I'm on Louisville. I like that, Loshak. Let's ride. Let's ride officially. You can throw that on my record. But you can make Louisville -1 an official play, Jimmy the Bag. How about that? -1, -108. Current line at Pinnacle.
All right, Louisville -1 at -108. You are in. Your first official play is in. All right, let's head back to the Metro. Pete, Ryder, Manhattan. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, this is a tough one because statistically I like Ryder, but Manhattan does have one of the best players in the MAC who can take over a game. That guy, Perez, is no joke for Manhattan, and he could take over the game. But if Ryder wins the rebounding game, has the rebounding edge in this one, which they should, if their head's in it, unless they come to not play. Statistically, they should win it without too much of a problem. So, again, Ryder, very good offensively on the offensive boards, and just overall a better rebounding team. They played twice. When Ryder beat them in rebounding in the first game, they won. Second time when they lost. And I think that, it's an educated guess that Ryder should come to play, win the rebounding margin, and get the win, despite the fact that Manhattan does have arguably the best player in the conference, one of the best players for sure. So I did bet Ryder. I took a -1. I don't know where the line is now. I bet it. I wouldn't be against making it official, but I don't know if I want to. But I did. Oh wow! Now Manhattan's the favorite, or now it's down to pick 'em, I guess. Yeah. Well, let me see. Look, I bet Ryder. Might be wrong, but I bet it.
All right, we have Raven in the Desert on Manhattan and the under, Josh Easley on Manhattan and the over. and Kyle Hintley and agreeing with your look on Louisville. And I don't want Manhattan after beating Iona when Iona clearly didn't care. It was a similar situation of Southeast Missouri State, taking Murray State to a second. I was certain that Murray State was just not focused after beating Belmont by 30, and that Murray State was going to smash Southeast Missouri State in that first game in their conference tournament. So I'm going to stay off of Manhattan in this spot, but I don't know if I have the confidence to take Ryder. Let's move on and stay in the Metro, Pete. We have the Canisius Golden Griffins versus Fairfield here. We have Fairfield opening up around 2.5. They've gone to 3 at some books. This total sitting at 132. Some books have dropped it to 131.5. Canisius closed out the regular season winning 3 straight, and Fairfield had their 2-game winning streak snapped. They lost to St. Peter's 57-41 at St. Peter's to close out the season, but they had beaten both Manhattan and Ryder before that. Take it away here, Pete. Canisius, Fairfield.
All right, just very quickly, there's an old Loshak in the Bag show inside joke that Michael Irvelina requested Pete sing your Ryder song. You see that, right, Jimmy the Bag?
I missed it, but I'd love to hear it.
It'll take 4 seconds. This is for you, Michael Irvelina. Ryder -4, do do do. Ryder -4, do 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 do. They can run the floor, then they can score some more. Ryder -4, do 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 do. That's for you, Michael Irvelina. All right, here you go. Old school Loshak in the Bag show. Inside joke there. Shout out to you, Michael Irvelina. All right, this one, Canisius, bad team, but they have been playing better recently, and I think that is pretty much for real. Fairfield, beatable team, not a great team, and I did take a shot with Canisius on the money line at plus 125. Again, not sure if I want to make that one official, but if it did wind up being official, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Small lean to Canisius here, and I did bet it. The market hasn't really moved, but I do like Canisius to continue to continue their improvement, and Fairfield is just a beatable team. Of course, Fairfield could win, but and of course last year Fairfield was a low seed and made a deep run in the conference tournament. So that might be the kind of team they are, but they're just not a high scoring team. And I do like Canisius here. It's going to be a tight, low scoring game. Considering that it's very likely to be tight and low scoring, maybe it's better to take Canisius, maybe even buy up to like +4, +4.5 or something. But that's a play that I took Canisius at on the money line, and I took a little bit of +2.5 as well.
But not going to move official there. We have one official look. Oh, sorry.
What did you say?
We have one official look so far from Pete. That is Louisville minus the points. We're staying in the Metro, and we move on to the Quinnipiac Bobcats, 12-16, 7-13 in conference versus Maris.
Actually, sorry, Jim.
Yeah,
you can make it official. +2.5 -106. Canisius, I'll make that official. I think it's
okay.
I think it's for real. They're rising. They're kind of like Arizona in the NHL. They've risen a little bit significantly above ass level. And I'll take them +2.5, -106.
I like that look. They're playing good basketball. By the way, we have a couple notes that have come in. First off, Razor Sharp Picks just locked in Clemson, NC State under 144. That's his top play of the day. Clemson, NC State under 144. And we have our guy, Ron Crawford, who gave us a winning parlay in college basketball on Friday. That parlay was Longwood Winthrop moneyline parlay that cashed very, very easily. Ron Crawford has given us another one here, and Ron Crawford's parlay, I believe it's Clemson Cal Baptist. But let me just get over. I have so many pages of notes here. Clemson Cal Baptist. We also have the Taint play of the day that we'll bring up when that game comes, but Clemson Cal Baptist from the great Ron Crawford as the spreadsheet play of the day. And shout out to Ron. Okay, Pete. So we stay in the Metro. Quinnipiac Bobcats 12-16, 7-13 in conference versus Marist Red Foxes 14-15, 9-11 in conference. Again, we are in Atlantic City for this one. We have Marist opening up at -2. Now they're -2.5. And this total sitting at 140 or 140.5. Not a ton of movement there. And Quinnipiac has been losing basketball games and not playing very well. They are currently on a 6-game losing streak. Losses to Manhattan, Marist, Siena, Canisius, Monmouth, and Iona. The Monmouth game was close. Same was with this game against Marist. Last time they saw Marist, they lose 67-66 at Marist, and they had beaten Marist 94-87 at home back on January 28th. So interesting spot here against Marist. Marist comes in on a 2-game losing streak. So let me just pull this up here. They come in on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to Niagara and Canisius. But before that, Pete, they'd won 6 straight games. So take it away here. Big game in the first round of the Metro Quinnipiac Marist.
I did take Marist here. I took them at -2. I bought it down to -2. Quinnipiac is they have some positive to them, but they just seem like a team that just doesn't really win. Although they shoot free throws well, which is very important in a close game like this in a conference tournament. But I did take Marist here. Again, Marist started to play very impressively, as you said, a few games ago. Then they had a couple of losses, but I think it's worth a bet that they were, that the winning that we saw from them until the last 2 games is likely to continue. So again, they Marist they could even make a run here. So again, Quinnipiac winning and Marist just not showing up would not be a shock at all. But I did bet that. I did take a shot with Marist, and I'll make that one official as well. And I'm trying to decide. I'll either take a -2 at -119 or on the money line at -140. You know what? I'll just take the money line -140. That's a current line of Pinnacle. Marist money line -140. I'll make that official as well. I bet that one, and I'll make it official.
Pete has moved on Marist money line at -140. Again, we're going to go conference by conference, and that was the Metro. We move on to Conference USA. We start with the Marshall Thundering Herd, 11-20, 4-14 in conference versus Florida International. FIU going up, and they're 15-16, 5-13 in conference. So let's see what we are dealing with. I'm going to move back to the Action Network, and hopefully they got me, and they do. Marshall opening up as 3-point favorites. Let's move to 3.5 at BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings. This total opened up at 146 and is all the way up to 148.5 over at DraftKings. We can still get it at 147.5 at other books. Marshall on a 3-game losing streak. They lost a home and home to Western Kentucky, both by big scores. They lost at home by 14 and then went into Western Kentucky and lost by 9. And FIU's on a 4-game losing streak, and they had a home and home with FAU and did not look good. Lost by 20 at home and then went into FAU and lost 84-76. Here we go, Pete. Conference USA, first round, Marshall, Florida International.
Yeah, I kind of like the over in this one. Marshall, of course, plays at a fast pace, and that's probably what they're going to do here. And my sense is that Florida International will be like, whatever, we'll play at a fast pace and see what happens. Florida International guard Brewer, I think, is questionable, which does matter. But I was my first thought was Marshall at -2.5. Now it's up to 3.5, and I do like the over here. It was a little bit confusing because when I first saw it, I think I saw 147, and then it got bet down, which made me think, all right, maybe I'm on the wrong side here. And so I held off, and now it's gone back up again. I think that maybe the Marshall team total over might be worth something. My leans were to Marshall at -2.5 and the over. And I didn't bet either of those yet, but that's definitely what I'm thinking. And I definitely like the over here, although I think for now I'm going to hold off as far as an official play is concerned. But inch away from giving the Marshall team total over 74.5 as at -123 or 75 somewhere else as an official play.
Next up, we have Southern Miss Golden Eagles. We're still in Conference USA, 6-25, 1-17 in conference versus the UTSA Roadrunners, 10-21, 3-15 in conference. Southern Miss opening up as 3-point dogs. They've moved to 3.5. This total opened up at 138.5 and has dropped to 136.5. You can still find it at 137.5 at a few books. UTSA did stop a 3-game losing streak with an 82-71 win over Rice. So they have that going for them. Southern Miss does not. Southern Miss has been losing and losing and losing and losing. They did play UTSA in overtime at home and lost 98-79. They lost by 19 points in overtime, which is wild. But they beat UTSA at UTSA 74-73 for their lone conference win. Take it away here, Pete. Southern Miss, UTSA.
Yeah, UTSA is a shitty team, but they do well on the offensive boards, which I think might matter here. I think they're going to have a big out rebounding. They're going to out rebound Southern Miss significantly. Southern Miss is an inexperienced team as well. It's also being played relatively close to UTSA's campus. So I do kind of like UTSA here. Again, anything can happen. But I'd lean UTSA even at -3, and I might take them on the money line as well, just to be a little safe. The money line is -153 or something. But I definitely think that UTSA is the play here. Although anything can happen, I think one way or another they do find a way to pull it out. So I will take. I'll make. Oh, there we go. Look at that, Ron Crawford, another blowout UTSA. So he likes UTSA for sure. I'll take UTSA. And what the hell? I'll make it official. And should I take him -3 or on the money line? I'll take him. I should probably take him -3, but I'll take him on the money line. -153 current line at Pinnacle.
-153 at Pinnacle. Pete is on Jose's UTSA Road Runners. And there's DJ Big Boss says, I'm on UTSA Southern Miss. I'm on UTSA Southern Miss, worst scoring in the conference. And let you guys know, our man DJ Big Boss has booked his trip to San Antonio. So he will be there in all of his glory. I'm telling you, guy's got a ton of glory for us. And there's going to be babes everywhere. Babes everywhere when Big Boss is around. Babes everywhere. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have the ASUN Championship. ASUN Championship final. Jacksonville Dolphins 21-9, 11-5 in conference versus Bellarmine Knights 19-13, 11-5 in conference. Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, and one of these teams we will get to see in the big tourney here. Let's get these guys in Jacksonville, Bellarmine. So this game pops off at 5 p.m. We have Jacksonville opening up as 3-point dogs. It's moved to 2.5 at most books, and expecting a low-scoring game, opening at 123 all the way down to 121 and a half. And both teams coming off very low-scoring games. Jacksonville just won 54-51 at Jacksonville State in the semis. That held Jacksonville State to 39.6%, shooting 22.2% from three, only shot 36.7% themselves. And the same goes with Bellarmine, won at Liberty 53-50 in the semifinals to get this opportunity. So both teams coming in, winners of 2 straight, and Bellarmine slight favorites. Take it away here, Pete, ASUN Championship.
Yeah, it looks pretty dead on to me. I didn't do any in-depth, my initial statistical analysis said that the lines were very close to being on. Didn't do anything more in-depth to try to suss something better out. It's a pass for me. Maybe look at it live or second half betting, but pass for me as far as the pregame lines are concerned.
Oh, wow. And of course, Bellarmine can't go to the tournament. My bad. Not thinking here. But so that means that Jacksonville will get the auto bid here. And then we have confirmation that Georgiev just confirmed for the Rangers. Georgiev is going to be in net for the Rangers, so there won't be Shesterkin. For all of you who wanted to make moves on the Rangers, that's definitely going to pump the brakes. And Vladar is in for Calgary. So that is a very, very big turn of events here in NHL handicapping for Rangers, Minnesota. you've got to think that not only opens the door to the over, but opens the door for the Wild to get off the schneid here. Wow. Thank you guys so much for that information. Extremely, extremely important. And Jacksonville State will get the auto bid if Bellarmine wins. Oh, okay. Okay, wow, that's wild. Okay. Jacksonville State will get the auto bid. Goes to the regular season winner. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wild, wild, wild ASUN action. Okay, so let's keep rolling here, Pete. You've stayed off of that spot here. So we move over to the Northeast and we move over to another final here with the Wagner Seahawks 21-5, 15-3 in conference versus the Bryant Bulldogs 21-9, 16-2 in conference. We're at Chase Athletic Center in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Let's move over here. This one is at 7. And Wagner opening up as 3-point dogs. It's moved to 2.5 at BetMGM. This total opened up at 150 and is now at 149. And we have an NBA spreadsheet play today in from Ron Crawford. Thank you so much, Ron, for sharing that with us. Ron's got a ton of action on today's card. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I will share it with everybody here. So let's get back to Pete here. Take it away. Your thoughts on the Northeast final, Wagner Bryant.
Yeah, this is a tough one. A pass for me. Wagner kind of can't really hang with teams that pick up the pace. Or no, I'm sorry. The opposite. They can hang with teams that pick up the pace, but they had a big injury that guy Ford that really was a big hit to them, and I think that might wind up mattering here. The game is just going to be a complete pass for me. They did well against LIU. Bryant, of course, almost lost to Mount St. Mary's in their last game, but I'm going to pass. If Ford was in, I would take a shot with Wagner getting points, but it's a pass for me.
Let's move over to the Colonial Final, CAA Championship. Delaware Blue Hens 21-12, 10-8 in conference versus Wilmington Seahawks. UNC Wilmington Seahawks 23-8, 15-3 in conference. Delaware opening up as 2-point favorites. Let's move to 2.5. This total opened up at 134, and it's dropped slightly to 133 or 133.5. Delaware has won 2 games when it meant the most. They came in on a losing streak. They beat Drexel 66-56, beat Towson 69-56, and here they are, and they're facing a UNC Wilmington team that is streaking right now. They are winners of 5 straight. It started with an overtime win over James Madison. Then they beat Drexel. Then they beat these Blue Hens 69-62 at Delaware. And they beat Elon and Charleston to get here into the finals. Will they beat Delaware again? Take it away, Pete.
Yeah, NC Wilmington is kind of similar to the Ottawa Senators. They just don't get respect. All conference tournament long, they were, they had the better record, and they were an underdog in both games. Or they weren't an underdog against Elon, but they were a very small favorite against Elon. And of course, they covered both of those games by margins. And earlier in the before they just get disrespected on their lines a little bit. But Delaware, if you remember, in the beginning there was a lot of preseason hype for Delaware. And of course, their regular season was a big disappointment. Now, though, they're playing much closer to their preseason expectations, and I would lean Delaware. I did bet it. I don't want to make it official necessarily because NC Wilmington is just a team that is just pulling things through and getting undervalued a little bit. And I had in their last game. Big loss. Yeah, again, I had a big winning Saturday, but a big losing yesterday. Not as big as the winning Saturday. I took Charleston second half against Wilmington, and that one lost. So I think I'm not gonna make this one official. I did take a small shot with Delaware. Delaware is again playing closer to their preseason expectations and probably wins this one, but I'm not gonna give it officially.
Tease empty the coffers play of the day is Delaware first half minus a half. And he has been cashing these routinely. Diesel says, I have watched every game this tournament. Box scores aside, North Carolina Wilmington is playing much better. More scoring chances have come from behind in multiple games, and that will work out perfectly for Tease. Perfectly. And Diesel continues, UNC Wilmington also has more tournament experience. Eye test clearly says UNC Wilmington money line. They can be trusted to come back from double-digit deficit.
Yeah. Yeah, Delaware first half might be a better play as well. Tease might be dead on there.
All right, let's move on. And we have a fun one up next. The Horizon League Championship Final. Wright State Raiders 20-13, 15-7 in conference versus Northern Kentucky North 20-11, 14-6 in conference. Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis. Let's go to the market first here. And we have Wright State opening up as 2-point dogs. It's now a pick 'em at Caesars, and they're +1 at other books. This total opened up at 134.5, and there has been no movement, Pete, none at all. Wright State winners of 4 in a row. You talked about that beatdown of Cleveland State that was shocking, 82-67 to get this opportunity. And Northern Kentucky is hot at the right time. They're winners of 5 straight and have won 8 of their past 9. They beat Purdue Fort Wayne 57-43. They've won 4 straight games by double digits. And now they get Wright State, who they beat at Wright State earlier in the year and beat at home. So they beat them at home 73-63 on January 25th. And then they won at Wright State 75-71 on February 13th, trying to beat them 3rd times in one season. Take it away here, Pete. Wright State, Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, this might be wrong, but I took a shot with Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, very impressive team. They can really, really D up. The Cleveland State game kind of shocked me. I took Cleveland State on the second half and took a big loss with that one. When Wright State is hitting their threes, they can jump out to a big lead against anyone and get a win against anyone. But Northern Kentucky's defense is definitely for real. They have 2 big men that they platoon that can really wear their opponents down inside. And Northern Kentucky should have a rebounding edge as well, which I believe they had in the first 2 games. So I took a shot with Northern Kentucky. Wright State is a very scary team to bet against because they're great offensively. And when they get hot, they'll get up quickly by 12 on you. And then you're like, damn, my bet is done. And then you bet the team that's down by 12. That's a great team on the second half, -2. And they wind up losing by 20. This happened to me yesterday, boys. But I took Northern Kentucky. I don't know if I want to make that one official, but I'm on the edge of making it official. I like Northern Kentucky here. Let's quickly check the comment section, see what people have to. Yeah, Kyle Hinton likes Wright State.
Yeah, Kyle Hintley on the Wright State. Brian saying, I like Northern Kentucky. Also solid D. Kyle Hintley says Cleveland couldn't hit crap. And Diesel says, again, I got to go with Wright State based on the eye test. But unlike Wilmington, game trends favor the Norse. And Raven in the Desert, whom we love dearly and have capped with for many years. It's great to see him back in action. He's in the over in the Wright State game. Pierre Suartas coming to us from Medellin. He's on Wright State as well. And by the way, Pete, if you want inspiration to come to San Antonio, Pierre Suartas is coming from Colombia to party with us in San Antonio. Shout out to my guy, Pierre.
The equation has changed again.
As it should.
If someone says, we have a San Antonio BBW waiting for you in the King's Suite with the guy from Colombia coming down and the $5 from the donos from this show, man, that is a compelling argument right there.
It is a real compelling argument. Why did I just say yes? I didn't even ask for those things. Okay, Pete, did you want Wright State, Northern Kentucky?
And Kyle Hintley says he's going to pick me up. Wow. The side of the equation in favor of yes is just getting heavier and heavier by the day.
Do you want to move on the Mighty North as official? I understand. I don't mean to pressure you into it.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to pressure you into this.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that the line is moving a little bit in Wright State's favor either. Man, I mean, I fade. Yes, the numbers. My numbers like Northern Kentucky a little bit. I'll hold off.
Okay, no worries. Lots of action still to come, and then we will be in NBA here shortly. But we need to speed up here. We have the West Coast Conference Tournament Final. This one's going to be a beauty. Number 17th ranked St. Mary's, 25-6, 12-3 in conference, versus number 1 Gonzaga, 25-3, 13-1 in conference. Let's see what we are dealing with from a market standpoint. We have St. Mary's opening up as 13-point dogs. They've moved to 12.5-point dogs, and this total has gone from 141.5 down to 140.5. Let's move over here. The Gales just beat these Gonzaga Bulldogs 67-57 at home, and I wonder how big of a role that will play in this game. Why don't you take it away here, Pete? St. Mary's Gonzaga.
Yeah, it's a huge game. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say about it. Just other than that, if you gave me a free play, I would take Gonzaga. Although St. Mary's is going to slow the game down, and it's one of those games where Gonzaga could easily get a dominant win and still not cover. St. Mary's gets a backdoor cover or whatever. I have St. Mary's as maybe a little bit overrated relative to their market valuations and their record and everything. So in general, St. Mary's is a team that I'm thinking is a little bit overrated, overvalued right now. A team I want to fade, and of course, coming off the loss, Gonzaga probably will lay the hammer down on them if they can. But again, St. Mary's is a quality team. They're going to slow the game down. So I didn't bet it, and I probably won't, but I'd be leaning Gonzaga minus 12.5 for sure.
Well, now we move over to Summit League Championship, and we get to our man, Matty Ice's Taint Play of the Day. Taint Play of the Day is here. It's North Dakota State, South Dakota State, over 149.5. Over 149.5 is today's Taint Play of the Day. This total opened up at 151.5. It is now down to 149.5 at BetMGM. It's at 150 at other books. This opened North Dakota State plus 5.5. Now we see a 6 and a 6.5 here available. 3 straight wins for the Bison. Look good against Oral Roberts, beating them by 20. Look good against Denver, beating them by 20. And that's how they got here into the final. For South Dakota State, they didn't look great in that opener against Omaha, but then took out South Dakota by 23. And here they are in the Summit League final. Take it away, Pete. North Dakota, South Dakota.
Yeah, people are asking about this total. The over is an interesting play, and I could easily see shenanigans at the end. Of course, these Summit League games during the regular season often went very high, similar to some of the MAC games. A lot of these games had totals, 160, 162, and I was still on the full game over and the first half over on them, and generally did well with them. In a game like this, though, the conference championship final, especially with North Dakota State, a team that it can slow things down at times, and South Dakota State can be slowed down as well. I'm not jumping all over the over, although I definitely can understand why people would like it so much. It's going to be a pass for me. I would be leaning North Dakota State plus 6, but South Dakota State's going to give their top effort here. I could easily see them, extending it out late. I was all over North Dakota State yesterday. That was one big winner I did have against Oral Roberts, and it's a pass for me. I can understand why people like the over, and I hope y'all cash. I'm not gonna bet this one. Maybe second half I'll bet it, but not pregame.
We have our guy Julian Cesario about to head to Vegas. As if it goes well, he'll meet us in San Antonio as well. It better go well.
Oh my God! And Cab spanking the bookie sales. Say it again, Pete, in case you didn't see it. If you come to San Antonio, you have unlimited access to my stash. Wow. I don't even know what stash he's talking about, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's great. A stash of what? I'm sure I'd love it. Damn. Shout out to you, spanking the bookies, Cab.
Okay, we head over to the Big West right now. Big West Championship, first round. We have CSU Bakersfield, the Roadrunners, 7-18, 2-12 in conference, versus CSU Northridge Matadors, 7-22, 3-13 in conference. We're at Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Bakersfield opening up at minus 4.5. Now we have 6s, and this total opening up at 129 has dropped all the way down to 126.5 for this spot in Henderson, Nevada. Both teams come in on losing streaks. CSU Bakersfield Roadrunners have lost 3 straight and haven't looked very good. but better than the Matadors. The Matadors have lost 6 straight, and they played their last game against Bakersfield. The Matadors won it. It was the last game that they won. They won 71-65 at CSU Bakersfield. But not a good basketball team. Take it away here. Big West Championship first round, Pete.
These 2 Big West games, I didn't do my secondary in-depth statistical analysis. I did my primary, my initial, which I often don't act on, sometimes I do. So I don't have my complete breakdowns of these games internally. I think that Northridge has a guard, Brendan Herrick, who is banged up. That might come into play here. Bakersfield been horrible ATS, and my first thought was Northridge plus 4.5. I didn't pull the trigger on it, and I haven't yet, although if I do more in-depth research, I might. But no bet for me as of right now, leaning Northridge plus 4.5, and probably I'll do more research closer to tip.
And did you want to touch on Cal Poly Mustangs versus UC Davis Aggies, or do you want to move on to the WAC?
That one I actually did take a shot with Cal Poly plus 5.5 based on my initial analysis, but it could be wrong once I do more in-depth research on it. But Davis is better, but it's likely to be a low-scoring game. Cal Poly's been not bad ATS their last 10 or 12 games or so, and I did actually pull the trigger on Cal Poly plus 5.5. I don't know if I want to make it official though, without having done my secondary round of research. But yeah. Definitely, I've already bet Poly plus 5.5, although that might.
There are some 6s on the board right now, and that total has gone from 127 to 125.5. The Mustangs against the Aggies. So keep an eye on Pistol Pete's Twitter handle for that. All right, we have 2 games left before we get wham bam and head into the NBA. We have the WAC tournament first round. UT Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros 8-22, 3-15 on the road versus Cal Baptist Lancers 17-14, 7-11 in conference. We've already heard from our Ron Crawford that he's using Clemson and Cal Baptist in a money line parlay. This one pops off at 9 p.m. Let me get it up here. We have UT Grand Valley opening up as 6.5-point dogs. They're now 7.5-point dogs. This total's gone from 149 down to 147.5. Have you moved on this spot before we talk Chicago State, Utah Valley?
Yeah, no, I didn't. The lines look vaguely on to me statistically, but I saw some people earlier in the show saying that Baptist will run away with it. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It's a pass for me. Maybe later I'll be on it, but pass for me.
All right, the final game here on the board. So, Jose, if you could reach out to Wham Bam, get him ready to rock. Chicago State Cougars 7-24 and 3-15 in the WAC against Utah Valley Wolverines, 19-11, 10-8 in the WAC. We're at Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chicago State opening up at plus 13. They're now plus 12. There are a couple 12.5s on the board, and this total is sitting at 132.5. We have Chicago State coming out of that New Mexico State shocker where they won 61-59, losing a couple games in a row. Although they covered quite easily for us in that next game against Cal Baptist. They lose 62-53, but they covered the first half. I was only on the first half plus 7.5. By the way, that was a look from Tease that I agreed with and loved and jumped on, but they covered both. Then Chicago State went up to Seattle and lost up there 74-66. Utah Valley's lost 2 straight to Grand Canyon and to New Mexico State. They lost to New Mexico State by 16 here. And I wonder if Chicago State can stay in this game and for how long. Take it away, Pete. Last game on the board.
Yeah, this one is a pass for me as well. Although I will say Chicago State, I've had a pretty good read on all season long and done well with them. They are a team that obviously is a massive underdog. Most games they are a terrible team in general, but they are a team that fights and that has some life. So I've had some success with them quite a bit actually. Betting on them second half when they're like a massive underdog and getting blown out in the first half and then getting another 8 points in the second half or something like that. So I do kind of like to look at and bet Chicago State games. This one is, and obviously the first time that they played, the game was super high scoring, but Utah Valley has been extremely low scoring recently. That's what they like to do, but it's entirely possible that they won't clamp down too hard defensively here, and that the game will be another higher scoring game. So I was thinking about a shot with the over. I didn't pull the trigger on it though, and I don't think I'm going to. That might prove to be a mistake, but if you gave me a free play, I would take the over. And it'll be interesting to see what the second half situation is, but pass for me. I didn't bet it on the opening lines. On the full game line.
Let's review your official picks and let us know if you're going to be adding anything. We'll start with the taint play today. It's North Dakota State, South Dakota State over 149.5 from our guy Matty Ice. I have some interest in Boston College in that first game in the ACC tournament. We've stayed off NC State, Clemson, but as I said, Ron Crawford, one of his spreadsheet plays of the day is Clemson tied in with Cal Baptist, and we've already seen Teases on Cal Baptist first half. Pete's first action is on Louisville -1 and -108. Pete, if you're going to add anything, just jump right in.
Yeah.
Ryder, Manhattan, you've stayed off, but you moved on Canisius +2.5 and -106, and you moved on Marist at -140. The diesel fuel gas of the day is Clemson and the Grizzlies moneyline parlay at +117. Clemson and the Grizzlies, so a little college, a little NBA action for you. Then Tease moved on a few different looks. He's got Boston College first half -0.5, NC State Clemson first half under 68, Ryder Manhattan first half over 64 from our guy Tease. Then we've stayed off Marshall, Florida International. Pete then moved on UTSA on the money line. We've stayed off Jacksonville, Bellarmine, and then Wagner, Bryant, no action, and no action in Delaware, UNC, Wilmington. Although Tease has emptied the coffers, play of the day is on Delaware, first half -0.5. No move on the Horizon League, Wright State versus Northern Kentucky, although Pete came very close to moving on the mighty Norse. Then St. Mary's, Gonzaga, stay off, and North Dakota State, South Dakota State is the taint play of the day on the over. No move in the Big West. And then in the WAC, you have stayed off both spots as well. There's our guy, Slow Jams Arson, though, in the house. Great to see you, Slow Jams, my guy. Much love, man. Anything you want to add? And Newkirk already on Boston College -2. Is there anything you want to add to that slate, Pistol Pete Loshak?
Let me just think. Yeah, I'd love to add Ryder just because Michael Irvelina is all over it. It's just Manhattan is, they have that player who can take over a game. I'd love to take Northern Kentucky. Wright State is so dangerous though, but they're and the line is moving in their favor. And I'd love to join Tease on Delaware first half -0.5. He might be on the right side there. Yeah, you know what? I'll add the Delaware play just because Delaware is again, they had such high preseason expectations, and their season fell so short. I really don't like betting against NC Wilmington, but I'll take it. Wait a minute. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Wow. The line has moved in Delaware's favor. Look at that. Holy crap. Oh, it's now up to 2.5. Wow. The line really moving in Delaware's favor, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry about this. All right. I will. Jeez. I'll hold off on that one.
Okay, buddy. We love watching you break everything down and looking at the market moves and getting concerned and all of that. Piker wants to see me eat some lunch during the show. Thank you for caring about that, Piker. You want to see me eat lunch, you're going to have to come to San Antonio. And Mr. Gokster is on the Wings in regulation and Anaheim, Chicago over 5.5. Nice job getting 5.5. That makes me not want to bet the 6. Mr. Gokster, what juice did you get on 5.5? Because the fact that you got a 5.5 might be enough to make me not want to move on it. Oh, no. Wally, you guys is back in the hospital at the ICU. If we could all send him as much love as possible. Says stay positive, love all. Thank you for letting us know, Wally. And hate hearing that, my man. If we have to hang outside the window and light a little garbage fire and sit there all night smoking giant bats in your honor and calling out to you throughout the evening. We'll do that. So don't when we go to San Antonio, there's going to be Wally time. Whether or not we get to actually sit beside you or not, I promise you, there's going to be Wally time, and we love you so much, Wally. Thank you for letting us know so we can send over the positivity and the love towards you. What a great guy you are, Wally. Hate hearing that. Okay, let's move on to the NBA and bring on your special guest, a man that we love dearly here, and we've loved him for a long time, and he'll be in San Antonio rocking with us. Please welcome the pride of Compton, California, Wham Bam in the house. Trot Wham, how are you?
I'm feeling good, feeling great. Back with the crew, back with the legends. Hey, man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Time of the week and Trot Whams as well. Hell yeah.
Okay. Let's get it. Let's
get right to work. Let's get right to work, Wham. We love capping with you on these Tuesdays. So let's go. Just going to move this over to NBA, and we will attack. And we have a nice card that's not overwhelming that we can sink our teeth into. So let's go. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets. I enjoyed watching that Brooklyn-Boston game on Sunday enormously. I mean, it was just so much fun. Tatum going for his fourth 50-plus game. You have KD going for 37 and losing. It's just very, very enjoyable basketball. The Nets open up as -1.5 road favorites. That's moved to 4 at Caesars and 4 at Bet Rivers. Just make sure they got all markets up here. The total opened up at 239.5 is now up to 240 or 240.5. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, 14,173 tickets in, 87% of the tickets, 86% of the cash on the Brooklyn Nets, then 60% of tickets, 72% of cash on the under, and yet it has gone up a half point or a point. We're at the Spectrum Center, Charlotte, North Carolina. Brooklyn 1-4 over their past 5, 18th in pace at 98.80 possessions a game. Charlotte 3-2, 13th in pace at 100.31 possessions a game. First thing that comes to my mind, Wham, and we'll go to Pete first and then the Wham, but first thing that comes to my mind, Wham, is just that's not the pace of a 240 game. Now, obviously, we don't really know what Brooklyn's pace is at the moment because we haven't seen them. I mean, we're only 4 games all year with KD and Kyrie in, but that's not the pace of a 240 spot. Brooklyn comes in off its 4th straight loss, 126-120 at Boston on Sunday. KD's 37 weren't enough. Second game back since his sprained left knee ligament. And Seth dealing with an ankle injury, but had 8 points. It's funny watching Seth play because he doesn't look like he has very much athleticism, and he makes smart plays and nice passes, and they barely get to the guy, but they're pretty nice plays. And he just seems like it's pros versus Joes, and somehow he got out there, and then he starts hitting threes. Charlotte comes in off its second straight win, 123-117 at home for San Antonio on Saturday. First time they won consecutive games since late January. They know there's going to be a lot of eyes on them. Take it away first, Pistol Pete. You like anything here, Brooklyn, Charlotte?
I want to hear what you guys have to say, but it seems obvious to me that it's a Nets spot at least early. I know Charlotte's talking about how they need to keep winning. They need to get another one. But the Nets have been covering on the road. They're also going over on the road, and I'm thinking Nets at least first half got to be a decent play.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Pete. Both teams 32 and 33 for the season. Smack dab in that 7-8 spot in the play-in. You know what I mean? So they're going to be having action in this game. I think both teams already alluded to that they do want to win this next coming game. It's not do or die, Kyrie says, but he knows that, they have to be in position for themselves into contention. And these games, that's every single night, these games mean something, I believe. So I think this game is going to mean a lot just based off the seeding factor. And also the Hornets won the last game. So you don't want to, fall behind in this game with a team that's you're competing for in the playoff hunt. I think the Brooklyn Nets does give it all that they are all today. I seen the -2.5, man. I had to take it. I'm thinking okay, this is the way to go. Now that I see it move towards the Brooklyn Nets, everybody liking the Nets, kind of make me a little hesitant on making it official here at the 3. I'm not going to lie to you, but I do like the Nets here at -3. I think that is a good play. I think this is Brooklyn Nets spot, like you mentioned, Pete. Just feel like they have been better on the road because Kyrie's there, of course. Now you get Kyrie and KD back. Like you mentioned, Jimmy, we don't even know this team, bro. We don't even know this team, to be honest. And then they're also going to get back somebody else that we haven't seen play in the whole year. So we don't really know this team at all. I believe that this team, especially like Gordon Dragic shooting bad over his last 5 games as well. I think he hasn't been up to his potential. I think he shoots a little bit better in this game today against the Hornets. Even though they've been playing a little bit of defense, I don't think their defense is that much. As far as props, I think Kelly Oubre is the prop today on the Hornets side. I think Kelly Oubre has already shown that he's playing pretty good, shooting 40% over the last 5 games from 3. I think he's probably the guy, and he's getting like 9 attempts, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pulling that up as I'm speaking right now just to confirm that. But at the same time, with this game, I think Brooklyn Nets is going to be the official play. I could get the -3 right now, right? Because I got the 2.5.
Let me see. By the way, let me just mention once again that Goran Dragic is a pussy ass bitch. Just throw that out there. Let's go back to this spot here. I don't know if I can get you the 3, but I can call Dragic a bitch every show for the rest of my life. Let me see if I can get you this. No, I'm gonna keep shopping around. I don't know.
That's totally fine, bro. Yeah, I think they all might be moving towards the 4s, and I'm gonna stay away from making that official. Then, but as far as the game, I do like Kelly Oubre. I haven't made that official yet, but that'd be something as far as addition. But I do agree with the Nets' love in this game. I think just based off of them having the same record, coming into this game, knowing that they can be the better team, when they play up accordingly, it's just the problem that their offense is pretty bad. I think the offense is bad because, like you mentioned, they haven't been playing. Those guys haven't been playing. So it's tough to see, and it's tough to check there, to be honest with you. But I think the 3, 2.5, you're getting with the Nets, I think that's good money right there. So that's the way I went. I can't give it out at 4, though.
Yeah, it's moved to 4.5 at BetMGM. I'll pull that up too. This total at 240.5. Look, Stu Chaos makes a great point. He says the Brooklyn Nets efficiency is what allows them to get to this total, but it still seems very high, and I understand why sharp bets are on the under here. What do you think of this spot for the total, Wham? You're muted, my man.
My fault, bro. My fault.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's interesting there, in my opinion, because these 2 teams, like, they obviously play up to it. Last game, there was total at 233.5, I believe, and it went under that total. Charlotte obviously won that game, though, so I do expect it to be a little bit more scoring, a little bit more fluidity. It was the first 3 games, I think, for the season, so you're giving them guys kind of credit from there. No Kyrie, of course, in that game. It was just James Harden and KD. So I do think they're going to play a little bit better offense there. As far as Patty Mills been playing a little bit better. So I do expect them to play a little bit better on the offensive side. I would say the over, but like you mentioned, that it's kind of weird. Like, I've seen the way the line hasn't really moved that much. You said it's just like a half point from 239, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think I seen 239 from the jump.
Yeah, 239.5, and it's up to 240 about.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, I'm gonna stay away from it, but I lean toward the over though. But at the same time, it's just I could see the Hornets having a bad shooting day, relying on guys like Kelly Oubre to get them out.
Yeah, it's going to be sold out in Charlotte. Charlotte's been drawing pretty well here. They sold out San Antonio. They're going to sell out Brooklyn tonight. All right, let's move on. Pete, is there anything you want to add to that spot? Any interest, or we move on?
I'd love to take Brooklyn first half -2, but I guess I'll hold off for now.
All right, we are going to move on. 7 p.m. Eastern is next up. Cleveland Cavaliers, 37-27, 17-16 on the road at Indiana Pacers, 22-44, 15-18 at home at Cambridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. A lot of people talking about Loshak's song on Rider -4. A lot of talk.
I got lots of songs. You remember my song about the Chicago Cubs sung to a House of the Rising Sun? We don't have time for this. This is all 10 years ago, baby.
I love them all, Pete. I love them all. So
I even have a song about Querétaro, who is a soccer team from Mexico.
Oh,
yeah,
yes. No, I know. And you know what? It's so funny you mentioned that because I saw they had a serious issue recently. And it made me think if they could only have heard your sweet, sweet vocals, maybe there wouldn't have been all the killing.
They'll figure it out. Yeah, most definitely.
Maybe it wouldn't mean all the horrific violence if they could have just heard your Querétaro song. Okay, Cavaliers Pacers. Cleveland 2-3 over their past 5, 24th in pace, 96.80 possessions a game. Indiana 2-3, 15th in pace at 100.02 possessions a game. Cavaliers open up as minus 4.5-point favorites. It's dropping. It's down to 3 at some books, or most books, 3.5 at MGM. This total opened up at 222.5 and is now at 223. So not much movement there. We have 10,566 tickets in, 31% of the tickets, 47% of the cash on the Pacers. So some big bets coming in on the Pacers, 59% of tickets and 59% of the cash on the over. Cavaliers snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 104-96 win at home over the Raptors on Sunday. Jared Allen left in the first quarter with the bruised left quadriceps. He's also dealing with a fractured finger. Will miss some time. And I guess I got the idea why Mobley is going to win the Rookie of the Year, why he's minus 700 and Scotty Barnes isn't getting the love that he deserves. And it was because, 20 points, 17 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, and he now can move over to the 5. I mean, he's a very malleable young forward and a hell of a forward. You also can see Lauri Markkanen moving to power forward, even though he is we see what happens to his shoulders. I mean, he's a bit of a bitch himself. Dean Wade could move into small forward. Could see more Ed Davis. No Karis LeVert with a sprained foot and Rajon Rondo with a sprained big toe, both listed. We're listed as doubtful for the TO game. I imagine that they are now. I don't know if you guys have any updated information there. Pacers coming off their second straight loss, 133-123 at Washington on Sunday. Brogdon and Halliburton look exciting. I mean, don't get me wrong, but there's very little else. Badadzi at center, I guess. No Miles Turner since January 14th. No Chris Duarte with the toe injury. No Lance Stevenson with the ankle injury. TJ McConnell and TJ Warren have been gone for a long time. What do you think here, Pistol Pete? Cavs, Pacers?
When I first saw this, and I actually saw the Indiana Pacers when they played in Brooklyn this year, and I was like, man, this team is horrible. But now with Brogdon and Halliburton back, I was looking at this and I was thinking, I'm not sure they should be, this much of a home dog here. And I thought that Indiana getting 4 was worth a play. When those guys were back, they had a nice win over Boston at home. And I think they should be competitive here, and I would definitely be leaning Indiana here. A little bit surprised by the line when I saw it.
What do you think, Wham?
Yeah, man. Cavs looked to sweep the Pacers after winning 3 straight meetings this year. Darius Garland pretty much back distributing the ball over the last few games. Had 10 last game, 19 the game before. And when he had 19, we had the double-double at plus 210. Felt real good to hit that one, bro. So he hit the double-double last 2 times. I'm not about to shy away from it today. This is going to be an official play for me. Darius Garland double-double at plus 105. I believe you get that available right now at FanDuel. Even money at Bovada. So that gives you the idea where it's going to be at. As far as him particularly, I think he's going to have to score. He's going to have to distribute. Continue to do that. That's when they've been competitive here. As far as the injury report, we know Jared Allen is out, so obviously that means more Osman. He started after winning out. He came in the second half and started for Jared Allen, so you would expect Osman to probably fit right in that role, maybe as a starter here. So I think his numbers may be looking good. Kevin Love, obviously, his numbers are going to be looking good as well. He scored 20-plus points 4 straight games without Jared Allen in the lineup. So I expect Kevin Love probably to be the guy today. And his props total right now, I believe, is still going to be, nowhere more than 17, I would say, even without him. So I think he could get to the 20 again for the 5th consecutive time without Jared Allen in the lineup. But it's looking on the other side, man. I love Tyrese Halliburton. It's tough to take some of his props, though. I'm not going to lie. You pretty much got to combine them all, PRA to make any type of value because he's going to score. He's going to give assists. Sometimes he doesn't have the assist there, but he scores more, and he could do either or. So you probably want to combine the two if you're looking in that direction. I haven't bet that, though, but the 2 bets that I do like here is I do like Kevin Love to get 20 points. It's at plus money. And then I do like the Darius Garland at plus 105. That's an official play for me. So that's the official play. I haven't made the Kevin Love one official yet, but that's the one I'm rocking with.
Wow. North Ender's saying it's at plus 140 at Bet365. Let's get you that
Nice.
number here. Thank you
I
for
appreciate you, bro.
finding that North Ender. 35 cents of difference. That is
And you
not
can,
like
you can make Pacers plus 3.5 minus 110 an official play for me, Jim.
All right. Pete is in business as well. Pete Pacers plus 3.5. What was the juice, Pete?
Minus 110. Probably can find better, maybe, but
all right. Let's go. Josh Easley says, wham, bam, the money tram. We move on to the third spot on the board. Phoenix Suns. Here, let me just find this. Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic. Suns opening up at minus 7.5. They're now 6.5 or 7. And I was just a little overwhelmed, but I meant to move on the Magic before the show started. This total opening up at 224.5, now at 221.5. Let's move over to the cash flow in this spot. We have 10,390 tickets in, 27% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on the Magic. And then we have 60% of the tickets, 54% of cash on the under. Phoenix 2-3 over the past 5. I'm not sure. Sorry, it sounds like my son is up, I guess. We can keep him
Oh, it
in
happens,
that,
bro.
huge bag of fucking Lego just for a minute, please. Phoenix 2-3 over the past 5, 20th in pace at 98.10 possessions a game. Orlando 3-2, 5th in pace at 102.56 possessions a game. Suns had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 132-122 loss in Milwaukee on Sunday. As we know, Paul out long term with a thumb fracture. Booker missed 3 straight games while in COVID-19 protocol, and Phoenix has lost 3 of its past 5. But no pressure coming in from the Warriors or Grizz, so no need to worry. DeAndre Ayton goes for 30. Campaign goes for 23-8. Crowder goes for 19-7-5 in that loss against Milwaukee. Cam Johnson missed the Milwaukee game after hitting that buzzer beater against the Knicks. Orlando comes in off their second loss in 3 games. It was ugly. 124-96 at Memphis on Saturday. They had no Wendell Carter Jr., non-COVID illness, and no Jalen Suggs. We need Wendell Carter Jr. back in the lineup. Will he be back in the lineup? Pete, does anything interest you here?
Carter, I believe, is definitely going to be back.
Beautiful.
He's not on the injury report now.
Perfect.
Yeah, I saw this one, and I thought definitely Orlando first quarter, maybe first half. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, and maybe full game they're worth a play. When I looked at it, it was 7.5. Now it's down to 6.5. But I'll make the. I mean, they were hung with Memphis early. I think they'll hang here early as well. I'll definitely take first quarter +2 minus 104. That's current line at Pinnacle. Orlando first quarter +2 minus 104.
Pete, sorry, let me just put this in here. Pete is on the Magic first quarter at, what is that, +2?
+2 minus 104. Current line at Pinnacle.
Minus 104. And Piker says, Seamus says Magic just beat the Raptors, Toronto 7.5-point dogs. Phoenix not playing their brand of basketball without CP3 and Booker, but there's some value here on the Magic. But I don't like fading the Suns coming off a big loss. I don't feel like it was that big of a loss. They were in that game the whole time. I mean, the Bucks were very lucky to make it a double-digit win. I mean, it was anybody's game with 2 minutes left. So I don't think of it as like a bad loss or an ugly loss. I thought they played really well in that game to compete for so long without Booker and CP3. I just think it's the score that was the ugly part. That's why I'm pretty comfortable backing Orlando here, but I understand the angle that you're talking about there. Seamus, take it away here, Wham Bam, Suns, Magic.
Yeah, man, that's the only way I could think of, man. I mean, how long is this shit gonna last, man? You lose Cam Johnson, Book on protocols for another game here, and then you don't have CP3. Like, how long does this shit last, bro? Like, it doesn't last this long in the league, even if it is the Orlando Magic, man. So I'm right there with you guys. I think the Orlando Magic is definitely the side here. You know, even though that you're not you don't know what to expect, but I'm thinking here that Marco Fultz, you know, continues to play. He's going to play today. He's not going to play tomorrow. They already kind of gave it up. I think he probably plays the 18 to 20 minutes to this time. You know what I mean? And when he's actually out there, it looks really good, looks very efficient, better than what they've been seeing. I know Jalen Suggs, his game time decision, he's probably not going to be in the lineup. I think he's trending towards on the bad side of that. So he may not be playing. But like you mentioned, is Wendell Carter Jr. going to be in the lineup? I think so as well. I think that's definitely going to be the difference maker there. You know, they're going to probably run 2 bigs again. I think the Suns are going to run 2 bigs again. They did last game. They ran 2 bigs with JaVale and Ayton. I think they may do the same thing in this game with Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter. And I think the the advantage is going to show real quick. Like, the Orlando Magic probably got the two better bigs there. It may be looking a little bit funny there. So I think that's kind of where I'm looking here. I do expect the Magic to kind of bounce back. And then the Suns, they've been just kind of a little too high, in my opinion. I think you do still have the same production from Mikal Bridges. He's really, at an advantage when he's on the floor for sure. But other than that, I think the other guys fall off. So I do like the Magic here with you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this an official play either, though, bro. I'm not going to lie, but I do like the Magic as well.
There's a 7 at -113 available at Pinnacle, 6.5 at -103 or 104. My guy Vincent saying, "What up, Jimmy? Can't wait to kick it with you in the pub crew in San Antonio. I live here, so it's crazy that y'all come into the city. That 2-on-2 basketball game gonna be good. That I don't know if you know this, Wham, but that 2-on-2 basketball game is taking place in the parking lot of the Retama horse track. We're bringing in the hoop, and it's gonna be
gonna be nice.
yeah. It's gonna be the real deal. And
we're gonna make up our own three. Like when you make up your own three, like, oh, this crack right here is the 3-point line. Hey, that's when you're really hooping, y'all.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay, so I am going to move on to Orlando. I'm gonna have to settle for 6.5. Hopefully, it's available here in about 15 minutes when I will be able to bet it. But I like this spot. I think we're in business here. Pete's on the Magic first quarter +2. We'll wait and see if Wham moves on it. See if he tweets something out. But there you go. Let's keep rolling. We move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans Pelicans 27-37, 12-20 on the road at the Memphis Grizzlies, 44-22, 22-10 at home. We're at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. Pelicans 4-1 over their past 5, 11th in pace at 100.51 possessions game. Memphis 3-2, 9th in pace at 101.40 possessions a game. Let's see. Oh, sorry, that's Pinnacle. Let's see what we are dealing with here from the market on the Action Network. Let's get this over. Here we go for the Pelicans Grizzlies. Pelicans open up as 5.5-point dogs. That's moved to 6.5. Now there's a 7 on the board. They're still opening up at 230.5. And now we have 230. When we go to the cash, it's a coin flip. 52% of the tickets on the Pelicans, 48% of the cash. And then 27% of tickets on the under, 56% of the cash on the under here. Viper says Memphis is 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 games at home. New Orleans 8-1 against spread in their last 9 games on the road. We've already heard Diesel on the Grizzlies, Clemson money line parlay, the Diesel play of the day. Catch that gas here. Over the pants, butt stuff, looking at the Pelicanos. The Pelicanos had their 4-game winning streak snapped in 138-130 overtime loss at Denver on Sunday, led by 11 points with 3:22 left, and couldn't hold off Jokic. Willie Green doing a hell of a job. Brandon Ingram, no points in the first, ends up with 38. He's playing great. Too bad Valanciunas fouled out in that fourth quarter. McCollum goes for 24. Valanciunas 19 and 14. Memphis comes in off their second loss in 3 games. A surprise 123-112 setback at the Rockets. 10-point halftime lead, let it slip against the Rockets. Bane goes for 28, Ja 22, but just 7 of 20 from the field. And Steven Adams continues his great play this year, 23 and 12. Grizzlies were just 5 of 26 on threes. So you have both teams needing a bounce back spot, and one team a little more dangerous than the other. Pistol Pete, any interest here? Pelicans, Grizzlies.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm not sure what's going to happen full game, but at home, Memphis, I think, is going to come out strong, at least in the first quarter. It's pretty telling that the spread on the game is what is it, like 5.5, and the first quarter line is -2. So that tells you what the market is expecting, which the market has been a little bit wrong about Memphis quarter plays recently, but now it's catching up, I think. I like Memphis here first quarter, maybe in the first quarter team total over as well. Probably make one or both of those official after you guys discuss it.
Take it away, Wham.
Let me make sure I'm light. Look, gotta make sure I'm hot here, but I agree with you with the first quarter look, man. 7 out of the last 10 games. First quarter has cash for the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, they have been that good, and this team allowed Denver last game. I dropped like 30-something points in the first quarter. Problem here with me is for that Pelicans are pretty good for the season against opponents in the paint, allowing 44 points in the paint, which is ranked. I believe 8, you know what I mean? And it is ranked 8 over the last 5 games as well at 46. So it's kind of give me the, I've been capping I wouldn't say successfully, but I feel like it's been working at least as far as when the Memphis Grizzlies, when it looks to the Memphis Grizzlies, try to get the team that's actually holding people to the paint, because that's something that they like to do. They score 60 points in the paint consistently. Last game they dropped 72, still lost, to the last to the team. I forget the Rockets. I'm tripping. Just lost my brain there. And it wasn't a fluke because there was more threes against twos in that game. So I feel like if they held to like at least 55 or 50 points in the paint, they're going to be able to cover this spread here. I kind of will lean towards the Pelicanos here, man, because you see the CJ McCollum effect. I definitely am a big fan of what they did as far as addition, and like you mentioned, Willie Green, man, he's fucking coaching his ass off, bro. So, I want to step against that, even though on the other side it is another Coach of the Year candidate, and Tyler, man, I do think he definitely is there. It's a tough game for me, but honestly, I'm here for the Pelicans, bro. I think the 5.5 to 6, it's a little too many points, bro, from a team that I feel like it's going to be competitive down the stretch before the playoffs and the play-in game. So I like the Pelicans in the spot for sure. And you know what? You can make this an official bet. I did make this already at 5.5. You can make this official if we get 5.5, 6. I like this play.
I can give you 6.5 at -105 over at Pinnacle.
Yeah, I'll take that, bro.
Yeah, I'd like that. It's 5.5 at Bet365. If I could get a 6.5 right now, I think I move on the Pelicans. So let's lock Wham in. But it is tricky. Both teams are bet on, like Gerald Jones says.
Sure.
But both teams are coming off of losses, so they're angry. And Dan Kelly, first quarter Pelicans +2. So that's adding to Dan Kelly's action so far. I'll copy and paste that. Dan Kelly also has the Clippers team total under 109. We're getting that game shortly. And Cleveland, Indiana over 57.5 first quarter. I like that look. Astute Chaos is on that Cleveland, Indiana first half.
And as I say that, Brandon Ingram did get announced that questionable with a hamstring issue.
Oh, no.
That's true. That's facts.
That is maybe pump the brakes. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board.
Let me give two official plays here, Jimmy the Bag, okay?
Sure, my man. Yeah.
I don't like that Dan Kelly likes the Pelicans, so I'll hold off on taking Memphis -2. I'll take the first quarter over 56 -115. I'm seeing that at Caesars William Hill, okay?
Okay, first quarter over 56 -115. What's next?
56 -115. And I'll also take the Memphis first quarter team total over 29 at -110. I'm seeing that at Heritage.
First quarter over 29. What was the juice?
-110.
All right. Pete is in. Wham is in. And I would like to be. All right. Gerald Jones with his action here in college basketball. I'm going to copy and paste that. We'll go over it when we do our last review, which is coming up shortly. We've capped 33 games on this show. And we have
crazy.
2 games left. 2 games left. Let's go. We have Milwaukee Bucks 40-25, 17-13 on the road to Oklahoma City Thunder, 20-44, 9-23 at home. We're at Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Milwaukee 4-1 over their past 5, 6th in pace at 102.5 possessions game, while Oklahoma is 2-3, 3rd in pace over that stretch at 102.76 possessions a game. We have the Bucks opening up -14, now they're -13.5. This total opening up at 230.5, and there has been no movement. We go to the cash flow, 50% of the tickets on either side and 55% of the cash on the Thunder. 56% of the tickets on the under, 79% of cash on the under. And Vipe is on Oklahoma City. It says Oklahoma City, 1-4-2 against the spread in their last 7 games at home. Milwaukee 4-1 against spread in their last 5 games on the road. Milwaukee comes in off their 4th straight win, 132-122 at home over the Suns on Sunday. I felt it was a pretty underwhelming victory, but a victory all the same. They have averaged 125 points a game over this 4-game winning streak. Thunder come in as losers of 2 straight, lost 161-3 at home to the Jazz. Shea is just rolling 33 points, 8 assists, 7 boards, 4 steals, no turnovers in 38 minutes. He's since the All-Star break, he's rolling 33.3 points per game, 6.7 assists, 6 rebounds. It's very impressive. He did miss 10 games before the All-Star break with a sprained right ankle. Clearly happy to be back. Thunder have lost back-to-back. They lost 7 straight at home. There's no Josh Giddey. They've been playing the last 3 games with 9 players available, and figured to be the same situation here again today. Pistol, anything interest you in Milwaukee, Oklahoma City?
When I saw 14.5, I was thinking probably OKC plus 14.5. Is Milwaukee really going to drop the hammer on them? Maybe, but I doubt it. Free play, I take OKC at 14.5.
And it's 13 right now at Pinnacle, so it's moving towards them. And I get why it is. I 13 at circa. Let's just see if I wanted it.
A big one. A really big one. Not NBA related.
Tell me.
Football.
Oh, I thought you were going
No.
to say.
Fuck you, Jimmy. Don't say that.
Well, I thought it was going to be the good news. You were almost smiling.
I thought it was baseball.
Jeez, look how sad he is.
The Seattle Seahawks have traded Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
It is, of course, now that is pending physical and Wilson's approval, but I assume he's going to approve it and the physical is going to be positive. So it's Russell Wilson to the Broncos.
For what? Any? Do we have any information as for what?
Not yet. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with that.
Wow.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers domino.
Wow.
Jose
Wow.
Bouquet. Top 3 most authoritative broadcasting voices in history, Walter Cronkite. Number 2, I'll give you Don Lemon. Number 3, Jose Bouquet.
Yes. Oh, one who will Paquette. Very upset these days. He's very
Authoritative.
and authoritative.
You just
I
listen
agree
to
that
him no matter what he's saying.
I like the Thunder plus the points with a 9-player rotation here. I like it. I think that makes sense. I'm close to wanting to move on it. Wham, did you want to lock anything in here for Bucks Thunder?
Yeah, this game is probably going to be a backward for me, but I do kind of think that the Bucks probably smash here. I do think they smash here. Problem is that they've been giving up the points, 117 points over the last 5 games. And this team is not that good either. They're giving up just about 123.4 points over the last 5 games for OKC. They're giving it all the way up. Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Just like my guy Dutch would say. Appreciate everybody, fan watching us. But this is a game that I don't think I want money on. Other games there, I am going to be making official plays there. I think I am going to be pulling the trick on the Magic here, but this game I'm not touching.
Wow, I get it. Top 3 female broadcasters of all time: Barbara Walters, Katie Couric, Jose Bouquet. I would say for me. But all right, let's roll into the final game here. 10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Clippers 34-32, 15-18 on the road at the Golden State Warriors 43-22, 26-7 at home. We're at Chase Center, San Francisco, California. Clippers 4-1 over their past 5, 19th in pace, 98.70 possessions a game. Golden State Warriors 0-5, 14th in pace at 100.10 points per game. Let's take a look at this. Is the final game. What a marathon. Clippers open up as 7-point dogs. Now we have 5.5s across the board. And this total opened up at 219. It's now at 222 and a half. 222 and a half. We go over to the cash flow here. We have 8,372 tickets in. 39% of tickets on the Clippers, 45% of cash on the Clippers. 52% of tickets on the under, 68% of cash on the under. This is a fascinating game. Very, very, very interested to hear how everyone's going to break it down. Market moving towards the Clippers, but the Warriors are prepping to go on some sort of a run here now that they're back home. Clippers had their 5-game winning streak snapped, a 116-93 loss at home to the Knicks on Sunday. Warriors on the second half of a back-to-back after their 5th straight loss, 131-124 at Denver last night. The Warriors sent 5 players home early. So Jordan Poole went for 32, Moses Moody 30, Kuminga 16, and no Curry, no Wiggins, no Clay, and Gary Payton, sore left knee, Otto Porter, illness, didn't play either. As we know, Draymond Green nowhere to be found. Wiseman nowhere to be found. Pistol Pete, anything interest you in Clippers, Warriors?
I mean, when I first saw it, I saw the total at 220.5. I thought that was significantly too low. Didn't understand it, so I held off it. Now it's gotten bet up, but I'm seeing that Dan Kelly likes Clippers team total under. I don't know. My first thought was over.
Interesting. What do you think here, Wamba?
Yeah, so this is not your normal back-to-back for the Golden State Warriors. Of course, they had the young bucks out there hooping. I did tell you guys on the NBA Pub Show, Moses Moody was coming. 30 points. I didn't see that shit coming. That's for sure. But he did ball out. Again, with Steph, Clay, Wiggins coming back, it's going to be a little bit different. But both these teams still is 2 for 8 over the last 10 games. I mean, they haven't really been winning anything. And the games that they did win was against, mediocre teams. So I think the Clippers are definitely the better team here. You do expect it to be a bounce back spot here, but I'm not going to count anything out with Ty Lue. And this team was heavily, wing dependent. They have a lot of players to throw at all these guys. So I think the Clippers do play pretty tough here. And I'm not about to go against Reggie Jackson, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't really hear too many people talk about it, but Reggie Jackson, as bad as he really is as far as career wise, right now is probably playing the best basketball he has ever in the NBA. So I think he probably is going to continue to do that again against a Warriors team that's not really there locked in on the defensive side, without Draymond Green. Until he comes back, I think that's when you start to back the Golden State Warriors. Until then, man, I think it's only right to take the Clippers here. And this is one of those plays that, once my first few bets go in, I send this one out, as far as like maybe a live play or, right before the show. So I am leaning towards the Clippers. I wouldn't be mad at you taking it right now early, but you got enough time to wait to lock this one in. So I like the Clippers in this game. That's going to be mostly the focus for me towards the end of the night.
Okay, well, we will keep our ear to the streets, follow your Twitter, and see what is going on. Anything you want to add here, Pistol?
No, I'm going to hold off. Although I was thinking of adding the if Dan Kelly really likes the Pelicans first quarter, and then he's saying he likes Memphis live bet after the first quarter. So I'm thinking about adding on the Pelicans first quarter team total over as well. But I'm just watching and waiting. Yeah, this one, I don't know. It's very confusing to me, and I don't have a good read on it at all.
Dan Kelly on the first quarter, Cleveland, Indiana over 57.5. Clippers team total under 109, and first quarter Pelicans +2. We will review everybody's action, but shout out to Dan Kelly. Ron Crawford moved on Memphis first half, and no moves from us in Brooklyn, Charlotte, although I do have interest in that game, and we'll look a little closer. I'm looking at the under. I feel like I just don't see the Hornets being able to do what the Celtics did to Brooklyn, and that was push them to score. And Brooklyn may not need to do the damage that they had to do when Tatum went for 50+. Pete is on the Pacers +3.5. Wham's on the Garland double-double at +140. Then Astute Chaos on the Cleveland, Indiana first half over 114.5 -109. I'm going to move on to Orlando +6.5. Pete's on the Magic first quarter +2 at -104. We'll see if Wham comes along with us. Then Pete is on the first quarter over 56 at -115, and the Grizz first quarter over 29. Wham's on the Pelicans +6. Yeah.
Let me get Pelicans first quarter team total over 26.5 -122 as well. This is being guided by Dan Kelly's fairly strong opinion that the Pelicans first quarter are a good bet. So I'll take the Pelicans first quarter team total over 26.5 -122. That's it.
I like that number, 26.5 for them in the first quarter in a off of that overtime loss. I think they'll be ready to go early. Wham is on the Pelicans +6.5, which if I could get right now, I'd probably be on as well. Bucks, Thunder, no action. Clippers, Warriors at this point, no action. There you have it. Wham Bam, thank you for sharing all your hard work with us, my guy. You can catch Wham today, 4 p.m. Eastern on NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio. Thank you, my guy. Much love to you. And yeah, we just love capping with you here every Tuesday. Pete and I love it. Any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
Oh, no, man. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate you, Pete. Appreciate you, Jimmy, for having me. You already know it's all love. Puzzler in the chat. Everybody, I'll be locked in on the NBA Pub Show. Most likely be on Orlando and pushing towards that Kevin Love to have 20 points at Big Plus Money. So that's where I'm looking in.
I love it. There he is. Wham Bam. Thanks for rolling with us. And Pistol Pete, let's review all action and put a bow on this marathon. And great work covering all these games. You do such a hell of a job with it, and we love it. And the Rider -4 is in everybody's head here. Let's go over NHL. Pete's on the Devils team total over 2.5. The first period over a half -144. And I like your look on the Devils team total over. I like it. I like I like those bets a lot. So I'm gonna think about how I can bring that into my action. You're on Vegas -1 at -106. I am going to move on the Penguins on the money line. I am going to move on Seattle first period and possibly the team total over 2.5. I'm interested in both those spots. I think Toronto is vulnerable here and doesn't care that much about this game. Ron Crawford's on the spreadsheet NH play of the day. I'm going to wait, though, because money will come in on Toronto all day. Pete's on the Wings, -170. I'm going to be on the Wings on -1. I'm going to move on the under 6 now that Binnington is being confirmed. Binnington, Forsberg, I'm expecting. Pete's on the Stars first period at +112. I'm moving on the over 5.5 and Dallas. And then now that there's no Georgiev, now that there's no Shesterkin, I don't see why I wouldn't bet on Minnesota and the over. I plan to now. Then the over 6 and the Lightning -1. I don't see why the Jets really going to stop this train. They might put in some goals, but are they going to stop the train? And then I got cold feet on the Ducks, but the over I did not. Pete's on the Ducks team total over 2.5. Then I also like the over 6 in this Capitals Flames game. And by the way, Mr. Gokster came in. He's on the Capitals first period and full game. And I get why he's also on the Pens first period and full game, but I get why he's on the Capitals here. So, okay. So let's move on to the final sport here, NCAA basketball. Again,
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
Let me just add on 3 leans. You know, it's the end of the college basketball season. Let's go for it. I'll add on Rider. I'll add on Delaware first half, and I'll add on Northern Kentucky as well. Let me just quote the lines. They could lose, but let's start with Northern Kentucky. Just a money line -110. So I'll take that one.
Slow down here. Slow down here to my Northern Kentucky notes. Here they are. Okay, Northern Kentucky is what?
Just pick them. Money line -110.
Okay.
Then we'll take Rider, and but we're not going to take Rider -4. We're going to take Rider in a very safe way. We're going to take the money line just to win -124. That's the current line at Pinnacle as well. Rider.
Wait, sorry. Rider is what?
-124.
Rider -124 at Pinnacle. Okay.
And then we'll take. I'll join Thiessen. Wow, that line is really friggin' moving in Delaware's favor.
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. By the way, Vanacek was just confirmed for the Caps.
Okay.
That may give me cold feet on the over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then we'll take Delaware first half. I'm seeing -1, -115 to Heritage, so I'll go with that one.
Delaware first half
-1, -115.
Delaware first half -1, and what was the juice?
-115.
All right, you are locked in. So let's review Pete's NCAA action. First off, Matty Ice on North Dakota State, South Dakota State over 149.5. That is the taint play of the day. Pete gets started with Louisville -108. Rider then -124. Canisius +2.5 at -106. Marist at -140. Then he's on UTSA -153. Delaware first half -1 at -115. And the empty the coffers spot from Tease's Delaware first half -0.5. Pete's on the Northern Kentucky Norse at -110 at a pick'em. And that concludes Pistol Pete's action. Pete, what a day. Great job breaking down this enormous.
Here he is again.
Oh, again. Unfortunately, not everything's come out, but Drew Lock is in the trade. Multiple first-round picks. Multiple picks in general, apparently, and players.
Wow, this is wild. Can't wait to sit with this here for a little bit. Wild stuff. Dan Clay says, your quick opinion, odds boost, Golden Knights, Blues, and Red Wings all to win from +210 to +280.
Golden Knights, Blues, and Red Wings. Sounds great.
Yeah, this one sounds better than the last few. I would say this one probably sounds the best so far. I think this one probably sounds the best so far. But I'm lukewarm on the Knights in Philly. But this one is the best one that I think you've mentioned so far. And North Ender says Rangers Wild already up to 6.5. So I missed a boat on that one. So I don't think I'm going to take that 6.5. Okay, this is so hard. So hard. I've got decisions to make here, so I'm going to sit and figure out what I'm going to put on my card. But Pete, absolutely great work. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Nikolai Jubinski, Trotwam, North Ender, Jason Folk, Bananas and Grapes, Real Deal Prime, Jimmy Gomez, CT Bays, Dan Kelly, Dav Fenn, Puzzler, Astute Chaos, Jay, Peasy, Gerald Jones, Derek Miller. All you guys, thank you so much for your hard work. Ick Schnizzle, Cashman19, Rodney Barton. Hey there, big guy. Astute Chaos, all you guys, thank you for inspiring us to want to sit here for 3 hours and beat up this card. And big thank you to Pistol Pete Loshak. You do such a hell of a job. So we got to put a bow on.
Pete, are you coming to San Antonio? God damn it!
Yes, I probably will. Let's say a few words from Mark Schillenberg, though. He has some horrible news. Can we do that?
Oh no, yes.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Mark Schillenberg. Horrible news.
Wow.
Prayer for my kids, just found my mother, my ex, passed last night. I have to go. Shout out to you, Mark Schillenberg. Very sorry to hear that, and hope everything goes well with you in the coming days.
Oh man, Mark, I'm so sorry to hear that. You've been such a huge part of our show. You give us so much here in the chat every day. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's such a huge deal. I will stay in touch, as will a whole bunch of us. And really, really, really thinking about you, Mark, my man. Awful stuff. So prayers to you and your kids, and strength and love to you and your family. And I'll be in touch with you for sure. On behalf of all of us, I think after that news, you don't scream leche or anything like that. So, but we love you, Mark. So let's just close on that, Mark. Thinking of you and your family, sending you love and strength, and we will see you guys again tomorrow.